You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
That's the wine and diner with kings and queens.
You're looking at the man. You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
What's going on, guys? It's episode 200. It's Wednesday, and you might have an idea on what that could possibly illustrate what's going to go on with this particular episode. I butchered that. I'm sorry. But this is episode 200 of this podcast. I am Drew Yari. Thank you for listening to episode 200, as well as the other 199 episodes I've done. Alone, it's going to be a big night, so I have big guests. My first is the host of Garden of Doom and Hammer Hangover. He's also a part of my Patreon exclusive show, From Our Lips to Your Ears. Technically, he's the host, and I'm just the guy. I'm just the minor host in the background. Mr. Jeff Lippman, our resident lawyer. How you doing, Mr. Lippman?
What up, everyone? Happy 200th, and today you are just a minor player. So congratulations on 200. Thanks so much for inviting me to be a part of this bicentennial show. I'm truly honored that you are friends and contacts in this business. Ask me to be part of this is truly an honor. Thank you.
Absolutely, the honor's all mine, my friend. My co-host is a man you know all too well. He is the host of the RJ and the Brooklyn Savage Squad. He's also a part of our Patreon exclusive show, which is titled Revenge of the Savage Nerds. Mr. RJ, the Brooklyn Savage. How are you doing, RJ?
I'm good. I echo what Jeff said. It's an honor to be on the 200 episode. You could have got anybody else these volumes, and I appreciate the spot.
Absolutely. I appreciate you for coming on. Appreciate you for being a good friend of mine, not just a friend, family. So
yes, sir.
I'm glad to have you here, and let's hope that Discord doesn't fuck with the audio. But our third co-host for the night is a man that needs no introduction. He is the host of his own podcast, Prime. He's also a part of our Patreon exclusive show, which is called Close to the Worst. Mr. Ruben Prime.
Hello. I'm extremely honored to be on the 200th. That's you got to think about that for a second. 200 times, and it's amazing. Just to think about, I'm honored for you to, say, "Hey, Ruben, want to be on the 200?" And I was like, shit, I'll do it. And I just had to hop on, just to talk wrestling. It's been a while since I talked wrestling, so kill is one stone tonight. But again, thanks, Drew.
Absolutely. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being on here. It should be a fun show. Like I mentioned to Jeff, we're going to try and keep it under 2 hours. I know RJ mentioned that he might have to cut it short tonight. So we'll try to keep it at least maybe like an hour and a half, hour 45 if we can. There's not too much. I mean, there's a lot when you have to talk about, but not too much. About the most, which is AEW Dynamite, which took place in Rochester. Match on the Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. First match of the night. Pretty ballsy. I mean, it made sense because they're in Rochester, so you want the crowd to be hot. Pretty good match between these two. It seemed like they were very even. As far as I don't want to say he's obviously a much better wrestler than Perry, but it was a pretty good match. As far as size wise goes, I'm pretty sure Jeff is gonna have a chuckle at that. Size wise, they're very even and pretty good back and forth match. Great action. Adam Cole getting the win by being a heel and kicking Jungle Boy in the nuts. And Adam Cole gets the win, of course, which he should. What you guys wants to start off?
I can start. I mean, since you... That's me. Yeah, I'm a sizist. I think it's crazy that anybody makes Jungle Boy look big. Adam Cole managed to do that, size-wise. I understand why people like the acrobatics if they want to try to trick themselves into thinking that wrestling is real and they like the artistic form of it. I don't watch dance competitions because I don't care about dance competitions. I don't enjoy going to the circus because I don't really care about acrobats. I don't watch the Olympics. I'm not really interested in balance beams and flip redos. So yeah. I'm not interested in seeing little guys wrestle. I understand that I'm maybe behind the times. I don't know. I'm never going to accept that there's not some relation. Little wrestlers that don't look like superheroes and viewership from 10 million people down to 2 million people a week. In any event, if you're just going for technical, it's pretty good. Jungle Boy had some obvious places where like slipped on some etc. Cole being Healy, I guess it protects Jungle Boy. They seem a little obsessed with protecting people, which is sort of a WWE thing to do. They used to not be concerned about it. One of the things about AEW is they used to have winners and losers. Somebody would it was just their time. They're not really doing that tonight. We saw that in a couple matches tonight. Aubrey Edwards, as always, is in too many camera frames. But I did think it was choreographed well, where Adam Cole sort of, and Jungle Boy were sort of trapped around her and did the mule kick. That sort of was in the way again, which probably wasn't choreographed. But anyway, I'm sure people think that it's great. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm just never going to get to a match with two little guys like that.
Anybody else?
I thought it was fine for what it was, Jeff. It's funny that you say that, right? I talked about this in previous episodes. That the era of the flippy wrestler shit for me is just about done. Like I see that WWE's bringing all these athletes in, right? Like like Steiner's kid and the Tony D'Angelo's, these other guys, right? I kind of get excited because everybody named Mother in the wrestling business doing dives and shit. Like, it's not special anymore. It was special when Evan Bourne was doing it 10 years ago. It was special when Ricochet was doing it 10 years ago. Everybody named Mother does a 30. Everybody does a fucking 450. Everybody named Mother does a fucking shooting star press. Small guys, big guys. The ladies do it. Like, I mean, it's not special anymore, so I don't want to see it anymore. I don't care to see it anymore. It doesn't tickle my fancy. With that being said, the match is fine for the two participants. Everybody knows I'm a big Adam Cole fan. Just many aspects of the business that he touches that I like personally. And Jungle Boy is a future prospect too. I agree, he does need to get a little bit more bigger. Not a size queen either, but realistically, he has to, that gym, and get a little bit bigger. But yeah, I'm fine for what it was. One thing that took me out of the match a little bit, and I voiced my displeasure with it on Twitter, was the fact that man gave him a top rope Canadian destroyer and got fucking kicked out. I hate that shit. But other than that, fine match. Nice back and forth. Nice opener to get the crowd into it, especially for that type of audience.
I agree with everything you just said, RJ. What'd you think?
Just pick what everyone said. Yeah, like the match was good, and yeah, just you see the same everyone doing the topes, the cone hero, it's not special anymore. And I feel like as a wrestling fan, I'm not the biggest or the one that has all the title belts or all the shirts, but I am a fan. It's weird to me that I see everyone, just cheering on, like everyone doing all the flips, everyone doing all this stuff that they call wrestling, but it really isn't. And I'm just in that camp where, yeah, you have acrobatics, that's part of wrestling, but when you overexpose it, you kind of expose the business. And but that's just the match itself. I enjoyed it until the top rope Canadian Destroyer. Stop it. It's like every time, and that just makes that unbelievable. But of course, we're in that age where it's to be expected in today's wrestling. And I'm a bit old school. I do respect new school, but it's just certain things that have to change eventually. I'm glad that we're having, the Braun Breakers coming in, and that's a good. I'm hopeful because of people like that coming in. Like they get the business. Everyone is, and I just want just a bit flippy stuff, storytelling, more character development. That's just my wish.
Yeah, I just want to say one last thing on it. It has some spectacular balance, very very similar to Dante Martin. I could almost say the exact same thing about him. But when they do these elaborate 6-point jumps and landing on the ropes and then flips, and it ends in an arm drag, that just seems like an awful waste of energy to me.
Like you said earlier, a circus act. And by the way, Dante Martin is too damn lanky to be doing some of the shit that he does. Too damn tall. Like, the dude spikes himself on his neck. Like, you saw that transition he did tonight, where he was bouncing and then he did the fucking kip up. He spiked his own self on the head before he.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you gotta chill, man. You gotta chill.
Yeah. I agree.
And it's just like I'm sorry, Jeff. Yeah, it's just like the modern wrestling style. It's just like, why do people not see that this is kind of dangerous? Would it surprise if like a lot of the fans, like the AEW fans, and they see Bryan Danielson, essentially, Bray Wyatt, who supposedly he's going to Impact, but he's going to AEW. They're going to see him and either down the middle of people going, wow, this is what wrestling is supposed to be. And then there's going to be the other half going, oh, they're too methodical. They're not wrestling at 1,000 miles per hour. Like, would you guys be surprised if that's the reaction with like guys like Punk and Bryan?
You're already seeing it. Oh, like he's not flying around 1,000 miles per hour either. They're slowing it down. It's guys to slow it the down. And you can tell. That match with Kenny Omega last week was probably the best match I've seen him have. Why? Because Kenny Omega was not left to his own devices.
I agree. I was watching that match quickly because, again, haven't been talking wrestling with you guys in a long minute. But watching that match last week, I was like, wow, like, Kenny wrestled good match. And he has the capability. But the problem is that he's too, like as you said, he needs to slow down. All these guys, they're just going at 1,000 miles per hour. They left to their own devices. That's when you get chaos. And having Bryan Danielson there to slow him down, have guys like CM Punk, have guys like slow down and just ground them a little bit. It's so refreshing, and you already see the split. You're starting to see that split down the middle. But that match last week, that was like the first time where I just put my phone down and was watching the match. I did not went to do anything else because that match was so different from a lot of I've seen on AEW, and there's been some good AEW matches, but that one was, to me, near perfect.
Yeah, it was a battle, no silliness. Kenny Omega didn't even do his jazz hands bit.
Yeah,
Like he didn't even do that last week. So like it's the culture, and that's what I wanted when I sent that tweet out after all three of them showed up at All Out. Like the culture has to change now because these guys are not gonna be doing like Brian can wrestle balls, but Cole for the most part, he's not 1,000 miles per hour type. You gotta see him. They're gonna slow it the fuck down. That's exactly what we're starting to see it. We're starting to see it. And that's a good thing. Because a lot of guys need to know that, hey, watch these guys be pros at the same time, and maybe you'll save your goddamn careers.
Yeah. I thought that was a great match as well last week. I don't know if I'd call it one of the match of the year or one of the all-time greats, but it was a near perfect match. I put it up there with Hangman Page versus Pac, which was sort of the same type of kind of match. I sort of feel like the generation that I grew up with wrestlers versus this generation, it's like they've traded dying young in themselves with steroids and drugs, with dying young and injuring themselves with crazy high-flying maneuvers. I'm not sure which is worse, but I don't think there's an episode where we don't see someone bleeding the hard way. And, I mean, it's conspicuous that the makeshift tag of Matt Sydal and Dante Martin is put together. Dante Martin's mother is injured, and Matt Sydal's brother, I guess, is injured or released or whatever, but probably injured also. And so they put them together.
And Dante Martin he's just an injury waiting to happen. I've seen him almost injure himself twice now.
Agreed.
A few weeks ago when they had that big, I think it was an 8-man tag, and he did the double jump onto the rope, and he gave somebody a hurricanrana on the outside. He almost landed on his neck on the little metal part for the barricade. I'm like, dude, come on, bro. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, everyone wants to be Phoenix, but I mean, Phoenix also gets hurt all the time. But there's a happy medium, and the happy medium, we see it. The NXT Women's Division wrestles well, but safer. Ring of Honor wrestlers wrestle that well, but safer and a little bit slower. It's like Ring of Honor at like 1.75 speed. It's just it's reckless.
All right, so yeah, before we get to the next match, I just want to kind of talk about the Omega and Danielson match. Me and RJ were talking about this last week. I said it was the match I've seen Omega have because you didn't see the of him making stupid faces, stupid, ass hands. I know the Jim Cornette calls them twinkle toes. And Omega actually looked serious. He looked like a serious wrestler, and it helped that he had a guy like Danielson to kind of direct traffic, so to speak. And it was a great match. I mean, I knew whenever I heard him say, there's a 30-minute time limit, I went, I know this match is going to end, which it didn't bother me. My only gripe is that they should have included that in the match instead of just like, literally before the match ends, they go, there's 45 seconds left. I'm like, okay, you didn't say that. Like, it should have been more dramatic. Like, Danielson goes for his submission, and we're already at 10 seconds. And right when we get to 3, 2, 1, you see Kenny Omega barely tap out. But he tapped out after time expired. Like, it should have been more dramatic, in my opinion, but the match was fine. It didn't for me. So let's get to the next match, which is Dante Martin and Matt Sydal versus Homelander and Shotty Lee Johnson. The story of the match is the fans are tired of Cody's bullshit. Last week at Grand Slam, I don't know if it's just the fans in general or if it's just New Yorkers, or it might even be both. They are tired of Cody.
It's some of the fans, man, everywhere. I'm not saying all, but some of them.
Right. Rochester and Queens are not the same demographic.
No, not. I'm in both. Not the same.
Yep.
I'm not going to say much about the match because I pretty much already said what I thought. I mean, it was fine for what it was. But I mean, I think the story was after the match. Cody is talking, trying to call out Malachi Black, and Arn tells him to stop talking. Gives that speech that you're not listening, your eye's not on the ball. He's killing everybody, and you want to call him out. I wasn't sure what he was exactly saying. He's too tough for you. Run away, or you've got to handle this fight seriously, or if it was just you're not listening to me, so screw you. But we don't want any part of this because we get hurt. It was sort of a mishmash of all those. And then he had Lee come with him and said, at least he listens to me. And they left Cody alone, being like, well, huh? People say it was great by Arn, and I always like Arn promos. I like his voice. I like his
cadence.
Exactly, his eyes, his body expression. And like you said, I would. I'm too old. I'm just not exactly sure what he was saying. He was saying, Cody, you got to run to this, but you're doing it without us because we're afraid.
I actually have the promo right here. That is that if Cody's getting carjacked, he steps aside, but Arn pulls out the Glock and turns the tables, and he's not going to get a loser. So the moral of the story is that Arn Anderson admitted to killing him. But other than that,
we did stab a much bigger Sid Vicious.
Oh yeah, with scissors. I remember.
Or something.
I do love Arn Anderson. We at the Drew Yari Show love Arn Anderson, but other than that, I mean, I don't know how this. I don't really know how this whole storyline is going, because I would have thought that we're getting a Cody heel turn, or I don't know if it's going to be a thing of, the fans are booing Cody because he doesn't believe in himself. It's like, can we just get Cody's a heel?
And that entrance isn't an entrance for someone who doesn't believe in themselves. And the guy who gets the gun should be the heel. The guy who's refusing to get the gun should be the face. I just don't. This is like reverse. It's like reverse psychology. It just there's like a little disconnect for me. That said, I'm glad fans are booing Cody because that's fun.
Exactly.
What's everybody else's thoughts on the segment?
More personal, that's it. That's what it is, and it's that's the story of his AEW run. Honestly, there's always some type of drama with Cody somehow, some way. I guess Cody's gonna have to dye his hair black and fight Malachi Black. Go Dr. B Evil Black. Can you picture it? That's what I'm gathering.
If I gotta fight evil, I have to be evil.
My prison neck tattoo.
Yeah, he already had going on for him. Like he already had the crazy neck tattoo. So once he dyed his hair,
I'm gonna give her some of my style.
He's well behind on the tattoo race in this battle.
Oh yeah.
So what you're saying, RJ, is that Cody's going to go to prison?
Yeah, of course. And when he gets out, he's going to give Red Velvet some of his Stardust. Oops,
I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off, Ruben. What were we going to say?
Oh no, you're good. I was gonna say, in terms of the promo from Arn, very good. Just like I like when promos have that hint of realism into it, like just real world situation. If I would have just put out the Glock and splattered his brains, across the wall. But Cody, who just step out the car and say, "Oh, don't hurt me, please." I like things like that, and I feel like they had to. If Cody's gonna go heel, I feel like he's gonna just go. He's gonna go all out, no pun intended. But they're gonna twist, like RJ was saying. Like, I feel like they're just gonna twist it and be, oh well, you know, they're booing him because, you know, they feel like, you know, fans feel like Cody doesn't believe him, you know, believe in himself and all this stuff. Like, they will change the narrative because it's Cody Christ, and I feel like they're gonna do that. Just pulling the trigger, like, you know, with John Cena, many opportunities to heal, but he didn't do it. Vincent wanted to do it, so I feel like with this, like, I feel like you know, while it's hot, you strike. While the iron is hot, you strike, and you can make Cody into a bigger star down when he turns face again. But they just gonna keep this train going, just sympathetic Cody Rhodes, you know. I feel like that's what it's gonna lead to, instead of the fun thing, you know, going to prison and, you know, getting out and him showing Red Velvet, you know, that Stardust, if you know what I mean. That would be the fun. That would be fun. I'll definitely. Well, I already tune in to Dynamite, you know, most weeks, but I'll to that segment for sure.
Oh yeah, no, you know, he's got to cheat on his wife.
Oh yeah,
he's got to impregnate Red Velvet live on the air.
Yeah,
it's got to happen.
I don't understand what's going on. I'd rather see Brandy and Red Velvet. That's what I want to see.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, well, you know, that's even better.
Of course it is. Yeah, I'm leveling up. I have a query for the panel. If Cody turns heel, does he rejoin the Elite and make that even more than it already is?
Wait.
Drew is shaking his head, but he's a bullet. Those.
Yeah, he was. And he just kind of quietly said, like, if you noticed. So him just showing right back into the fold wouldn't be so bad after all. Like, I mean, he literally quietly separated himself from the rest of the pack.
And they've got a gang of good guys. Sure, Kazarian is one of them, and so is Marcus Stunt. But, numbers. I mean, Hangman Page is still on his 7.5 month of paternity leave. And I don't even think the child is born yet. But that would be one more for the good guy slot. Then Passover Page could be Hangover Page.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So this kind of segues into a topic that came out from Body Slam Net. And just read it. Sources have said basically they are EVPs in name only in 2021. They no longer have final say in creative or talent hiring. TK, Tony Khan, pulled back on the reins and took that power away from them all. Creative has essentially completely taken away from the EVPs, as basically everything now comes through down to Tony Khan. Talents are allowed and encouraged suggestions, but creative is absolutely Tony Khan's prerogative now. According to sources, Cody doesn't really have much of a relationship with any of these. The others are still great friends, but Cody is very much on the outside looking in. And then other shit. What was that?
No, I said of course. Like, I mean, we knew that. Like I said, he quietly separated himself from the pack on TV with no explanation whatsoever, storyline wise, or nothing. And you know these elite guys. One thing I give them credit for, they leave little breadcrumbs and little gems around, you know, but nothing when it came to the Cody separating himself from that pack. See, something there.
Other thing, Matt Jackson's EVP role has been assisting his wife Dana merch. Nick Jackson is focused on BTE. I'm sorry. Kenny Omega is very hands-on with AEW games and the gaming side of things, as well as his role of helping to put together women's matches, because, of course. At one point, Cody Rhodes was the only EVP to regularly attend and was an office regular, but that role, as well as his input with creative, have... What was I? Oh, man. Thank you. But that role, as well as his input with creative, have greatly diminished. And then Dave Meltzer claims the impression is more than likely Bray Wyatt is going to Impact, but that's neither here nor there. We've already. Go ahead.
What about the Chief Brandy Officer?
There wasn't any news about that.
It's this. I don't believe the article.
I'm just reading interwebs, Jeff. Yeah, I mean, we've already heard stories about how the quote unquote Cody, Omega, and the Bucks weren't really getting along, and the Young Bucks, like RJ pointed out, they like to leave little breadcrumbs and Easter eggs. The Young Bucks update their at least twice or 3 times a week, just kind of trolling people. But I mean, there's obviously truth to that, because Omega and the Bucks have been friends for a very long time. Cody just literally decided to hop their coattails, and he's basically exposing himself, and the audience is picking up on that. Like, you're not really one of the elite; you just came in. You know what I mean?
Well, he was the one who introduced them to Tony Khan, but not to Cody defend. But listen, every situation is very complex, and Cody and on the Elite, their friendship is only about 2 years before AEW started. So he's the new guy. So he's like the new girlfriend. But then you start to get to know, you don't like this, you don't have this belief together, you can't eat at the same restaurants. They don't, they're the one that says, well, you ordered 2 glasses of wine, I only had Diet Coke, so we're not splitting the bill evenly, and slowly you realize, not really my best friend, but we're on business together. Luckily, they seem to be doing well, or well enough that the billionaire, Tony, doesn't seem to care. But frankly, when we're doing the creative book, it was a shit show. I know people were pretending it wasn't, but it was a shit show. The biggest problem now is that they have too many people, so that they don't really have too many cohesive stories. And Tony Khan's about, I'm not going to release anyone, so he can't release anyone. And pays them, I'm convinced, on TV appearances. So that's why you have to get 110 people, on TV on a 2-hour show and have that kind of crash TV. But I don't know. If there's that kind of high level tension, it hasn't really hurt the product any. They keep adding people, so I guess these little cracks come. You see him and Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole and whoever else is next. I'm not going to say Ruby Soho because nobody gives a damn.
Ruby. Oh.
I mean, Anna Jay being back is more exciting for most, and now you got Sheeta and Deeb going at it. I mean, where have they been? I mean, it's good to see them have a match, but I mean, you could have put them on the side of a milk carton.
Yeah, so much for Kenny Omega booking the right?
Where's Rio been? I mean, not that I'm complaining. I don't need to see Rio. I need to see more of Jade. I need to see more of Penelope. I mean, there's plenty of people I need to see more of. Rio ain't one of them.
Penelope's got to change that outfit, and then you see more of her in that onesie again. Holy shit!
Yes. Oh, what? That week, somebody stole her wrestling gear, and I said the biggest face in wrestling is whoever stole her wrestling.
The biggest face in wrestling.
Biggest face in wrestling.
The biggest baby face in wrestling.
The top one on the JML wrestling week that week was number 1, the person who stole Penelope's wrestling gear. Number 2, of course, Lily.
Move on. Next is a Who Gives a Shit match. Anthony Air Country versus Darby Allin and Moxley. This is a squash. John Moxley got the pin. Does anyone give a shit, or shall I move on?
Well, John Moxley got his mouth busted open, and CM Punk wasn't sure what the tag team's name was. So that was marvelous. This match sucked. It was so sloppy.
Yeah, it was all over the place. I mean, I love Eddie King and Mox, Darby, but yeah, sloppy. Anthony is a fucking joke. He looks like a 70s porn star. Like, this guy does not deserve to be he does not deserve to be employed. Can goon off of TV. I don't want to see this guy ever again.
Put him with that group. What do they call themselves? The wingmen. I mean, they're never on, but they're the ones who all think that they're hot party guys. But they're not. So Bononi, Blonde, young
Yeah, oh,
put them with that group. But people love Anthony Henry. Like I hear he's like a really good guy, really well thought of. But yeah, that was just weird. He was definitely the odd man out.
Yeah, it's just trash. In Bear Country, they fucked up a couple of times. It's dark for those guys.
Yeah, they're no good. The one guy is big. The other one isn't even that big. He looks like a small version of Rhino. I mean, but if they should be giants, they should both be giants. And one of them is just... I mean, that's me. That guy.
He is. He's a short fat. Oh, my God. Yeah, it's bad.
The match, just wasn't. It just wasn't in my bag. It was just a schmoz. And like Kingston and Mox, this match was just nothing. And it was cool seeing Darby Allin doing the coffin drop. That was a cool spot. But besides that, no. I just besides that, I was like, just pass.
All right. Next is a 16-man tag match. You have the Dark Order versus the Douche. Dark Order getting the win during the match. Like we mentioned, Evil Uno and I think it was Alex Silver were getting into it, and then as they're storming off, the widow of John Huber is his actual Brody Lee, Amanda Huber, came in with their son. And just basically, told him, "Are you kidding me? This is about Brody. This isn't about you. You guys better make up." Blah, blah, blah. And they go back in, and of course they celebrate, in the ring with Amanda and Brody Jr. I mean, the match, it went the way it was supposed to. It was a tribute to Brody. Yeah, that's really about it. I didn't really have any complaints. I didn't think the match was all that great. It went the way it should have. What'd you guys think?
I just wish in matches like this they would say that it's a tag team tornado match, because it's supposed to, none of the enforced should just say it's tornado, it's Texas tornado rules, or say it's, I don't know, Rochester earthquake rules. I don't know, just something that rhymes with Rochester
Rumble
rules. Exactly, perfect. That's the only complaint. This was. I mean, you could have scripted it ahead of time. I know a lot of people were saying Bray Wyatt was going to be there, and there was one report that said he waived his 90-day non-compete. I'm like, there's no way he would. I mean, let's just assume he made, I don't know, $1 million a year, and that's probably too low. You're going to waive $333,000 just so that you can appear in AEW 2 weeks before the non-compete ends? That is insane.
Somebody gave him a nice pre-signed bonus. That's the only way I could ever see anybody waiving that.
Apparently they didn't. So
exactly. So yeah, I'm not about that either. I don't care how much you're passionate about maybe doing AEW or being there for your fallen friends. Pretty much section of him, his hometown. That's just ridiculous to leave that kind of money on the table.
And if he's really going to, I hope that he at least insists that Braun and Rowan come with him so they can redo the Wyatt family or some version of it and dominate Impact. Because, I don't know, that could be pretty interesting with him versus, like, maybe Moose and Cassidy. What's his name? Calloway?
Morrissey.
Morrissey.
And there's some other big guys. They have, what's his name? Joe Doring. He's
Eric Young's crew. That'd be pretty cool. Eric Young's crew versus a Wyatt family or whatever they're gonna do.
They could just
that'd be dope. Yeah.
Whatever it was, at least do that and try to work with that act, because they could go all over the indies and supplement their income perfectly nicely. And Braun needs to separate himself from EC3, because EC3 is just not even a wrestler anymore. He's just a bodybuilder who sometimes wrestles.
Yeah, EC3 is never really all that great anyways. Like, he's a great, he was a spoiled brat character. His whole narrative, dark man, cryptic, evil, whatever he's got going on that's just a crock of shit, and nobody cares.
You mean
not only has it been a crock of shit, ever since he's controlled his narrative, nothing's gone right. I mean, he's been injured. He got COVID. He's been canceled from matches. All he's tried to do, like he's had entire cards that he paid for, which got the entire card got scratched. I mean, controlling his own narrative hasn't really worked out very well.
And plus, AEW hasn't or knocking to him either.
Right.
Why would they?
Yeah.
And why would they? He's not anything special, anyways. Great physique, but besides that, I mean, seems like a pretty much seems like a airhead for the most part, for what I can gather, just being around him those brief times that I was around him in FCW and NXT. Like, he's just not.
If you can't get a buzz in Ring of Honor, which is almost completely any star power, except for maybe the Briscoes and maybe Shane Taylor, what? Lethal doesn't have star power. I mean, he has respect, but he's not a. He's basically
he's got staying power there. Like he's recognized as a top guy there.
Yeah, but he's not a star. I mean, even Jonathan Gresham is like the head of that faction. All 5'4" of them. It's called the Octopus. It's got like foot long arms.
I just remember John.
The black Bryan Danielson.
I just remember John Jay Lethal. My name is Jay Lethal.
You can't have it because I'm the greatest champion of all time.
Oh God.
He sounds like a bad cartoon villain. Oh my God. He sounds like he belongs on Dexter Laboratory, man. He should be like his villain or something. Like he's not. I mean, he's entertaining. He's entertaining, but he's not. Yeah.
He hasn't been entertaining in Ring of Honor. I can tell you that much.
Right. Well, in the beginning, when the height of his run in Ring of Honor, to me, when he went on the double champ run, Martinez with him, and they played off each other well.
Oh, you're talking about Jay Lethal. I thought we were talking about EC3. Yeah,
but EC3, yeah, the EC3 never had my opinion except for like Impact, but Impact didn't have much of a choice now, did they?
Yeah, but he was good. Like I like something where he said, like, "Yeah, we'll try your birthday cake," and then he goes, "As if I eat carbs." I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was funny, but yeah, that was like 7 years ago.
All right, so the next thing we're getting is Leo Rush is unretired again, and he's apparently Erwin R. Shyster, which okay.
But is he wrestling or is he managing?
I don't know.
That wasn't specified. The way he was talking is like it was managerial type talk. Like, I can help you get money type talk is the way I interpret it.
I thought his character was that he was going to help people invest to get rich, and of course, at some point, it'll end up being a Ponzi scheme or speculative in like the hamster or whatever. But I mean, he's Cameron Grimes without the country bumpkin.
And at least Cameron Grimes is charming with it. It's a weird mix with Cameron Grimes, which is why he's which is why he's over. Because Drew can tell you, like, I wasn't a big fan of Cameron Grimes at all until like this whole $1 million switch up, and it's like, damn, like this guy he's really good. So
yeah, it was Halloween Havoc for me, but I get what you're saying. I mean, but really, isn't the only thing that matters like what's the over under on him retiring again?
And I know, but it's just like, come on, like pick one lane, stay in it.
Like 5.5 months? Would you say 5.5 months is a fair over under?
So,
well, he only lasted one night the last time, so maybe 6 hours. And like I said, I love Leo Rush, but we got to call a spade, man. I can. It's too, man. Like, come on, it's ridiculous.
Find out Mark Henry's reaction to this.
Well, we see the graphic they have. Leo Rush is All Elite, and by tomorrow morning, it scratch out is and it says was.
And Mark Henry goes on his radio show. God damn it! I told him not to sign that damn boy. He retired again. Oh, bitch.
I mean, who is he now passing over? That's what I want to know. Who is he just supplanted on the pecking order of the roster?
Somebody, because he's got some type of, I mean, good, bad, good or bad, Leo Rush has some type of name. So,
Oh my god.
you're right, that's one more guy getting kicked down the barrel. And there's a lot of, well, not a lot, but there's a few guys come out voicing their displeasure with AEW and how some of the homegrown guys are getting slid down for all these ex-WWE guys or all these other free agents that have a little bit of name to them.
And isn't Matt Hardy basically the same character as Leo Rush?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just about to say that. He brought in Private Party, and just this much. I'll take 30% off your, from your earnings and into a star.
The biggest
shit.
That's the biggest crock of shit ever. Those guys are just fucking. Those guys are henchmen.
Yep.
Oh my god, it's bad.
Just wipe all of Hardy family off, right off the roster.
Yeah, you can take Matt Hardy.
All of them. It's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
I like Butch and a decent tag team, but everyone else, throw them off a cliff. Don't.
And that pains me to say because I like Angelico and Helico and Jack Evans, but it's just like, dude, you're just wasting your fucking careers. Anybody remember when Helico did that crazy dive in Lucha Underground years ago?
Oh yeah, sure, that was amazing.
I'm struggling to remember that nowadays because I'm seeing with them on AEW, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they tried to bring him in as a submission specialist for a while. Like there's Zack Sabre Jr. or Tracy Williams.
Yeah, that's just not going to work because that's not what
and so
especially in front of those fans. Especially in front of those fans, that's not what he's known.
Especially a guy that you're going to have lose. What's the purpose of being the submission specialist if they're going to have you lose?
Exactly.
Like Daniel, what's the point? I get that he knows where to go and he doesn't hurt anyone, so that's good. But if he's only losing, what's special?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. That's the purpose of hyping it up to begin with.
Yeah.
Damn, man, they should pay to help understand logic a little bit more.
That's right.
Anyway, speaking for FTR and Foley had a promo. FTR saying that the tag team, blah blah blah. After that, Dan Lambert is in the ring with the Men of the Year. Dan Lambert doing his Jim Cornette impression, talking about how Men of the Year beat down Jericho and the rest, or just Jericho and Hager, I believe. Which I thought was kind of fun. Not funny. I don't want to say funny, but Paige Van Zandt beat Jericho, which I thought was kind of.
I love that. I was smiling so hard when that happened.
She is so goddamn pretty, Paige Van Zandt. I gotta say
she's
that.
so hot, dude. Like, oh my god. Check my Instagram story, man. I just reposted one of the posts stuff. I'm like, I'm not a blonde guy, but damn, Paige Van Zandt.
She's no Ivy Nile. But Dan Lambert, this might have been my favorite. It's in the MJF's promo, but actually I think I like Dan Lambert's better because he's speaking for me, and I know he's getting paid to do it and he's playing a role, but I think it's easy for him to channel this because I think part of him believes it, but he's like, hey, they're paying me to do this? Sure, why not?
Yeah, and he's legit, man. He works with legit fighters, man. Like, so his nose down at wrestling, it can't be true. Which is why it works.
Wrestling. He's been involved in wrestling for a long time, off and on.
Yeah, Impact. He's been in MLW just like 2 years ago. Like he's definitely had his nose in wrestling, and he's always played the anti-wrestling character. only working with legit guys, which brings me to say this: why the fuck is he with two goofs like Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page? Then
I mean, you need to give him something
he would
to
be
do.
with a guy like. Wouldn't he be with a guy like Anthony Ogogo or somebody who has maybe somebody that could be made to be legitimate, like maybe a Miro, somebody that you can believe can be an ass kicker, like a legit ass kicker?
Yeah, I'd prefer to see him. I mean, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky completely lost there, and both of them were supposed to be pushed to single stars. Both left tag teams to become single stars, and then they got put together because, I mean, they both got overshadowed by 30 other guys, and they get overshadowed by a new person every month. So, you know, they're two people who have probably just been passed over by Leo Rush, who hasn't done anything yet. Well, until 3 a.m. But I would much rather see him like assemble a faction of Miro and Wardlow. You know, maybe turn Luchasaurus. Turn Brian Cage. You know, get a Haas squad together and do some damage. I mean, I don't think AEW could get behind that, but I would absolutely love that.
I would, and look, that's what I hoped for Team in it for months. Like, the biggest missed opportunity, in my opinion, was not having tag team champions be this big a monster team going through all these little midgets. Dude, they tore Cage away, and not Cage. He's not even on the fucking anymore.
But Hobbs can fire Taz saying, "You haven't done shit for me," and join Lambert, and maybe Lance Archer fires Jake the Snake saying, "You haven't done shit for me either." And then they join that. You got the Miro, Archer, and who's the other guy just said, Hobbs. And then down the line, when you convince Wardlow, what are you, just somebody's thug? You're protecting that little nothing. Let's show the world what you can do.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe you can have a Daniel Garcia be like the middleweight type guy, going after the TNT title. If you want to add like somebody with the submission skills to help build him up and make him be a little bit more legitimate,
or be their coach. If he's the coach. At least he could be Suzuki in mind to do something.
Yeah, right.
That guy's a statue.
And that's crazy too, because that guy's a fucking machine. I've seen some of his work in Japan. That guy can fucking go. Why they failed to make that guy active, I have no idea.
They put him in the sweatsuit of paralysis.
I swear they did.
Thanks. The Dan Lambert promo was dope, and to talk, to talk like this. But I mark out when he, does his promos, because it's like he's speaking for a lot of us, and there's a lot of truths to what he is saying. But again, it's just the whole issue is, like you guys are saying, just too many people. It's just a schmoz of schmoz. It's like a faction within a faction. There's groups within, and that's why no one except for a small handful of people can get over, because you just have all these groups. Isn't Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero part of the Hardy family office? Like,
are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dark Elevation or something?
Back they were a thing, but I guess they just quietly separated. Before a while they were in the HFO, and it's like, again, too many people,
and they're not doing nothing, man. They're not doing anything.
No,
a bunch of sweet nothing, man. You lumping what, 2 tag teams, and they was with them today. You got 2 tag teams, this guy, and then you're gonna slap Rose on top of I guess Penelope Ford now is a part of the crew too.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Where is the goal there for these people? Like, that's what AEW hard fans fail to realize. What is there for these people? Like, you look at a faction like the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle, they have enough members to go through this and whatever. But you look at this long shit called the Hardy family or whatever the fuck. And it's a bunch of sweet nothing. Same thing with Dark Order. Look, I know everybody loves the Dark Order, but that's just a bunch of sweet nothing. Because what is these guys doing? Except for talking about Brody Lee every week. Like, what are these guys doing? What are they doing? What is the goal for these people?
They're orbiting themselves. They're like a moon. The funniest part about the Dark Order thing was when the women and Brody Jr., -1, convinced them that they had to get their shit together. Like, Colt Cabana made some face and expression that probably wasn't supposed to be caught on camera, but it was almost like Scooby-Doo. It's like, ruh.
No, that's Cabana's goofy, silly. Colt Cabana should be elite. I don't even know why he's in Dark Order. Like, that just, like, he fits the clown show a whole lot more better. Like, at least Dark Order, I could take Dark Order a little bit more serious than I do the Elite.
He's only there because of his relationship with Pro Wrestling Tees.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And that's why he'll be perfect for the Elite. So he can help make a bunch of weird T-shirts for him. Nakazawa pouring baby all over his body. All these weird T-shirts and shit that they're gonna sell everybody.
If they keep getting jabronis in the Elite, it's gonna have to be the Elite and Sherpas or something.
Something weird.
Anything Carl Anderson not being on is fine with me. Next we have more Hardy Office for 24 and the Bunny versus Anna Jay and Tay Conti. I feel like I've seen this before.
That's because Drew, you have
seen it before, my boy.
yeah.
But not in matching.
Like I've seen it before. Go ahead, Jeff.
Not in matching tag team uniforms.
Yeah, that's the only difference tonight.
Tay J wins by.
That's for lots of good cleavage.
I was saying Tay J wins by scissoring. I mean, body scissors on Anna Jay and Ford.
Penelope's face on that was so bad in like that camera angle. Like, she put her eyes like wide open and sleep. Like, there was no transition.
What you thought? Go ahead, Jeff.
All I have to gotta say is that the teal is -1 because he's everything one of us wants to do, which is jump into Tay Conti's arms, get a loving embrace from her, and then get a double embrace from Anna Jay, uninterrupted. I mean, this is fabulous.
Hey, you saw my tweet on Twitter. I was like, yo, like, little Brody is the young goat.
I mean, he's got to be approaching 11 now. Like, next year, this is going to be hard. Like, if they keep doing this, at some point, he's little Brody's going to have a little Luke Harper sticking up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got that. His late night wrestling sessions with Liv. Now this, it's like, dude, you're the man.
Oh my god,
I got his dude. He's the man.
Legend. He might not be the GOAT, but he is the lamb. He is
rolling around with these women doing butt. Take Conti. God damn.
Yeah, he's this rate. He's going to grow up to be ravishing Rick Rude.
Oh, yeah, blame him. If I was around all that, I would be swinging my hips on TV too. I'd be swinging my hips and when he's swinging my hips. If I was all those women like that.
None of us will ever be in that position.
Yeah, sadly.
Unless you paid for it.
What do you think? What do you think, Ruben? Do you think goat, lamb, or what do you think about him?
-1. No, he's definitely the goat. He's doing what the average man can't do, or can't do at the moment. That is something that I give him props for. Like, Tay Conti, Anna Jay. Wow, that's to be in between those two ladies. It's definitely at a young age, he's done more on his bucket list than most people do in their 30s and 40s. So props for that, for sure.
Do you think that Penelope, you're better than Joey Janela and Kip Sabian, man?
Yeah, sure. I'm better than both of those losers.
That's a Brazzers scene waiting to happen.
Oh,
you have more research to do this week. I'm giving you more research.
Hey, Drew, don't forget about Julia Hart.
Yeah, poor Julia. We always suffer our wrath, but I mean, Jeff Lippman. I don't know if you've heard us say this about Julia Hart before. I said because with Julia Hart, you look at her, she looks like she's 12, but she's supposedly 19. And I had made the joke saying that she looks like she's in a Stepdad scene with Tommy Gunn. And I don't know if you know who Tommy Gunn is, Jeff. Ruben knows who Tommy Gunn is. I don't know if you know who Tommy Gunn is.
I know who Peter Gunn is. I know who Billy Gunn is.
This is the
club.
This is the better gun in my. But
okay. Well, I can probably imagine who he is. I don't know who he is, but yeah, Julia for me.
Yeah, she's cute as a button, and she kind of makes me feel uncomfortable. But anyway, let's go to the next segment. We got MJF coming out with Wardlow, gets on the mic, and I deserve more opportunities, and if I don't get an opportunity, I'm going to call my buddy from MLW, Bruce Pritchard. I have him on speed dial. To which CM Punk says everybody has Bruce Pritchard on speed dial. It's nothing to brag about. That's what CM Punk says. And then Darby Allin comes out after. Well, before that, MJF said, the pillars of AEW in he said himself, Darby Allin, and then there was someone else. I'm forgetting. Jungle Boy. There you go. And then
something I've been saying myself all year long.
Right.
I call him the Young Bulls of AEW.
Right. He after each name except for Darby Allin, because when he mentioned Jungle Boy and Guevara, he said beat him, and then when he got to Darby Allin, he said whatever. Which, to my knowledge, I don't think MJF ever wrestled Darby Allin. Has MJF ever wrestled Darby Allin?
Not in AEW, I don't believe. I think in tags, but not one-on-one.
Right. So
unless it was on Dark, and if it was on Dark, too fucking bad, because I don't watch that shit.
No. So then Darby Allin comes out and just talks shit and says, if you want to leave, then just go. MJF telling him, the reason why you're straight edge is because your uncle died in a car accident. And then he said, Arsta died! After mentioning Darby was in the car with him, and Darby would not attack for whatever reason. And then MJF walks out and blah, blah. So now we got a future. Now we got a feud. A new feud, MJF and Darby Allin, which on paper sounds great. It should be great. What do you guys think?
Well, God, not with old fucks that we don't care about anymore. Chris Jericho.
Good.
Somebody sucking all the heat, both of them. So they're going to be fighting each other. That's cool. I mean, hopefully this is a nice feud that both guys can sink to, and we'll see exactly what happens, man. I'm excited for it. I like both guys. Like I said,
because you're going to see embarrass Wardlow, and then you're going to see Darby embarrass Wardlow.
Oh boy,
I like the line where this whole school shooter mime thing is getting old, because I agree. I don't know. Darby is very fluid. I'm not going to take away his athleticism and his fluidity, and when he hits those flying moves, it's accurate. He is crisp as can be.
Mm-hmm.
But he might weigh 144 pounds, and so I just can't get into it. But yeah, I mean, this is an interesting feud because what does WWE do? You got two of your young stars. One of them just lost to CM Punk. No shame in that, but it's still a loss. And now you've got MJF, who barely loses at all to Chris Jericho. And I think one title match or something, maybe once with Cody or something. But I don't know. I wonder what they do with it. Somebody's going to have to win, and somebody's going to have to lose eventually.
Yeah. Do you go to the 50?
Yeah, again, it's just what happens when you just have a smiles of people and they can't remember. NJF definitely should be, and you got to be patient with guys like MJF and Jungle Boy and Hangman Page, because those are the ones that are gonna still be company and still be young. They'll be young as shit 5 years down the line versus, a lot of the legends. You can't rely on the legends forever. But the promo, just brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Just the school shooter mime look. I laughed my ass off, like, legit. And Darby just being poised. Yeah, gets him. That was, good. And just bringing some real miss. I need more of this, please. More of this, please. MJF, show up on my TV every week, please. And but they're just getting to that issue where they were me. I was in charge of AEW. I'll just let go of people. You don't want to do that. Do another brand. I don't think that it's still too soon to do that. But it's just so many people. And then you have those instances where you end up booking into a corners, because you have all these people you're trying to build up, but then they had to lose. Like, one has to lose, the other one has to win, and it just creates a lot of issues down the road when you need these stars, up and coming stars.
And there's such an easy solution if they wanted it. I mean, pretend this Forbidden Door thing is real and send a dozen people to Impact, send, a dozen people to NWA, send a dozen people to, what the fuck is that, New Japan Strong, and just, have sort of reverse excursions, and then you have, 30, 40 people in these other promotions between men and women wrestlers, supplement those rosters, let them act like they're real promotions with real stories and real size rosters, and your guys get some work, and when AEW just says we'll pay them, but maybe they get some cross promotion, they'll get goodwill if nothing else.
This fucking send some to Impact, bro.
Yeah,
send these guys to Impact. Impact needs guys over there for people to watch their program. I'm sorry. Sending baby Tonga Loa over there is not going to be enough to draw eyes on Impact. Like, send MJF over there if he's not going to be competing for the world title. Let him fight Christian over there. Let him fight Josh Alexander. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, especially if you're not going to do anything of note with him. Darby and a lot of other guys. After a while, it just feels like they're floating.
Send these over there and to confront Josh Alexander. They're worth.
Exactly.
Maybe he screws him out of his title win, and you're like, he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, sorry, man, it's my time.
Right. I'm with that.
I was going to say, since you put NWA in the conversation, can you imagine MJF and NWA?
Oh my God, that'd be great.
Why not? Going after Trevor Murdoch.
Even if you want a low card, I mean, country, what looks more 1982 NWA than those two palookas? Put them there. Send J.D. Drake. He came straight out of NWA Jobber 1980, Georgia Championship Wrestling, TBS, thing.
Yeah.
Send all these guys. I mean, you can send low card guys and occasionally a top card guy. I mean, during the Empower thing, they pretty much did the least they could possibly do when they sent Layla Hirsch to Meal. And basically everything else was just like Kiera Hogan was already agreed to do it. In fact, she just signed an AEW contract. Yeah, and Red and
Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, and King or whatever her name is, but she's not under AEW contract. She's a free agent. She's appearing. So so they're pretending that they like people, but they really sent two.
Right.
I don't know. And then AEW has to create a Layla Hirsch match, trying to force Layla Hirsch Jade for the same kind of visual and buzz. That didn't really work.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now we're at the main event. TNT title match. You have the champion Miro versus Sammy Guevara. We were kind of talking about this before you came in, RJ. I watched the match. Really good back and forth between the two. I like Sammy and I love Miro. There was a point in the match where he decides to rip off the part of the top rope for whatever reason. And then
my man was being an absolute Neanderthal.
El Fuego with a mask. Name is
Fuego del Sol, no car.
Fuego del Sol, no car. Tries to distract Miro. Miro punches him. Sammy Guevara takes advantage of the no turnbuckle pad and slams Miro's head in it and goes for his top rope move and gets the win. And now Sammy Guevara is now the new TNT champion, which I like Sammy. I love Sammy. I've said it before. I'm a 180 on Sammy. I didn't think that much of him at first, but now I think he's great. Personally, I prefer him as a heel, but that's just me. I love Miro. I don't think Sammy was the person to take that title off of Miro, and I think that he won was weird, and it just made Miro look stupid. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Whoever wants to start this off.
RJ starts, he wasn't privy to our conversation before.
The match, but up until Miro started going stupid knee mode, and got off focus, and that's when it started breaking down, and it got kind of goofy a little bit, and Sammy won. I'm with you, Drew. I like Sammy Guevara. Me myself personally, I've done a 180 on him. I always thought he was talented, but I wasn't really into him all that much. But seeing him more and more, I've done a 180 on the guy. With that being said, I don't think he should have been the guy to beat Miro, especially after Miro. He just went on this monster run, just killing guys. You have him lose the belt in the I just thought it was dumb, really dumb, and I don't know. Guevara wouldn't have been my choice. Who? I don't know. I mean, AEW doesn't know how to book big guys, but there's no. You know what? Hey, it starts to make sense to me. AEW doesn't know how to book big guys anyway. So they had him lose in this fashion, this quickly. I don't know.
But it would have been a perfectly good spot for a face Brian Cage to be involved in, so something like that.
Yeah. They book him either, so.
They could just be a house match. I mean, they're both sort of short and squat, and I think it'd just be an interesting match. But I hate this. There's nothing against Sammy Guevara necessarily. Now, I already said at the outset, sizes. That applies to Sammy. I get his skill and all that. I feel like they have too much of the same guy. If you have one Bryan Danielson and one Rey Mysterio, one Ricochet, you got three guys. That's enough. I feel like they have 30 guy. Put that on the side. Miro is not a stupid wrestler. He hasn't acted dumb. He acted dumb, and for no reason, it cost him throughout. And for whatever reason, he's tearing off all four of the buckles. I mean, for no reason whatsoever.
None.
It just that you knew that was coming into it, because this whole thing that is if he's hit on the top of his head, that's his kryptonite. Those they pretend it's the neck. Other times it's the top of the head. Whatever it was, it just seemed very anticlimactic.
It was cool. I like the fact that they established some sort of maybe a chink in his armor. I thought that was cool, planting seeds. But yeah, I'm with you. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, and the one thing, ever since the breakup with Kip, they've been booking Miro basically perfectly. His promos have been 95% amazing, and when they don't make any sense. They're still and all stuff about this, and this just, I mean, to give it to Sammy, it should have been over a long feud and something where he gets disqualified because he just last week they squandered an opportunity for him to utterly destroy, or 2 weeks ago, Fuego del Sol, destroy his car. They didn't do any of the things that we would have expected them to do over the top that we wanted to see. Fuego del Sol comes out. He should have destroyed him. He should have been tortured. And then that would have led Sammy to go rescue. Maybe there's a double make this a bad blood grudge match that has to be resolved at a pay-per-view or 2 pay-per-views down the line. It just seemed very abrupt and too quick. I know they wanted to get a belt on Sammy to sort of validate him. I just wish it wasn't this one, or at least not this way.
Right.
And the whole thing of Miro looking stupid, I guess he hits his head on the exposed turnbuckle. That's supposed to protect him, so I guess that'll be his ground for a rematch. But he's the one that took the damn things off.
Exactly.
So this to me was every bit as dumb, if not dumber, than the Finn Balor Demon rope break, because I'm sure that was sabotage. It's not. Everyone's going, he's 112 pounds, the ropes broke under his weight. No, I'm sure that they're going to come up with during the lights that somebody had a screwdriver or and loosen the ropes, whatever. It's going to be sabotage, which maybe doesn't make it much less stupid. But when I watched it, I hadn't seen an ending like that, so I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, I was expecting this to be a D-level pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. So I basically enjoyed it. Everyone was going crazy. I don't know, which is weird because I generally hate everything. But this I did hate. So I guess myself.
Yeah. The match was good until Miro went on his stupid mindless Neanderthal mode, and that just killed the mood of it. Because you knew what was happening right after. And it's just like, why, dude? Why deviate from your game plan all along to do that? Stupid.
Yeah, so. I would have much preferred if Fuego del Sol came out and then Lana came out or CJ Perry came out, kicked him in the balls. And that distracted Sammy, and that was his excuse for it to get to a rematch, but not to be.
Mm-hmm. Right.
My feelings towards the match, it was a great match until he just, Miro just went all loco on the turnbuckles. I was like, I understand he was going to take out one. All right, take out one. Take out 2 or 3 is okay. We already know where this is going. We already know where this is leading to, and it was telegraphed in a bad way. Because I felt Sammy winning, but not this way. And for me, like, I've been loving this, champion gimmick of Miro's. It's been just excellent, considering how they have him booked with, Kip Sabian. I don't know if he still has a job. Just with the whole Twitch gamer gimmick thing, I was like, why? Like, this is not Miro. I understand, Twitch channel, but that's just that is how you do not book a big man. And I'm glad that they went about this. Like, they did a 180 on him, and he's been booked as a monster. But this match, the ending of the match, it was just telegraphed he was going to lose, and just made him look like an idiot. And yeah, cool moment for Sammy. I'm a big fan of Sammy, and he's one of those pillars. But like, goddamn, like, can they book big guys right? Can they have a big man go on a tear at least for like a year and a half tops, at least? I don't know. That's just wishful thinking.
I don't know, because I think it validates sort of WWE indirectly.
Probably. So that was AEW Dynamite for tonight. Let's talk about something I've been talking about with RJ for a bit, and I brought it up to Jeff and Ruben. So the PWI 500 came out, I believe, like last month. And obviously we're not going to go through 500 in an hour and a half. That seems like something we need to kind of plan accordingly, and just do like a long-ass show and split 3 parts of doing 500. That's another story for another time. But
can we do one thing real quick before we do this? And it's your show, so you can say no. But can we make predictions for ratings for AEW Dynamite?
Sure. I would say maybe they stay over 1 million Probably like a .09. What wants to predict?
Yeah.
I don't think fans are tuning in to see CM Punk on commentary. He's a permanent member of the team on Dynamite. I mean, a lot of people are tuning in to see CM Punk wrestle. I mean, Rampage, during his match, over 800,000 people watched. Now 400,000 people watched. They have something like 640. I think it's basically the same thing that NXT did, which is actually I think NXT did 655, which I also predicted they would be in the sixes. So I think that after last, which I don't care what anyone says, I think it was disappointing based on the show. If it was a regular Rampage, 1.273 would be spectacular. But for that show and for all the anticipation, I think it was a disappointment. So I think they're going to drop like 150 at least. So I'm thinking maybe over like 1.050, like 50,000.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think around a million, 500, around that. I don't see them like they've been hitting 1 million viewers consistently, which was good. But me personally, I feel like they should be getting a lot more viewers. Just the fact that it's things that they're doing that WWE isn't doing. But again, it's just like we're at a time where ratings wars are a thing of the past. Days of having 10 million, having 7, 8 million views is gone. Like,
of course,
it's unfortunate.
But also, is the general interest there to watch shit? It's got to be that too. See, all of us, we're wrestling fans. But is somebody gonna casually walk by and see all the elite guys in the ring acting like a bunch of douchebags when all those guys are almost 40, acting like a bunch of degenerate teenagers? Or is somebody gonna really see it and say, "Well, damn, that's fucking awesome. I want to watch this." No.
I would as soon as they came on. Like, okay, that was a good match. The opener was a good match.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, as soon as I heard the Elite song play, I was like, okay. I don't want to change the channel, but I got to see what's going to go on, especially since doing this review. But if I watched like just whatever, I would just went to the bathroom.
Beat your beat. Super dick party. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Like, no, like I would immediately went to the other room. I would have did laundry or some shit because, I'm a fan of Adam Cole. When Kenny is serious, when he's being a serious wrestler, I'm a fan of his. But just overall, I'm just not a fan of. It was cool with the whole Bullet Club. Back when they were in Japan and, a few years ago, it's like you can't recreate that magic, unfortunately. Like it's not the same, and they're just trying to get that, catch that lightning in the bottle, and just so corny, so easy. And I would just change the fucking channel, to be honest, when they came out. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. I mean, because, AEW is obviously for the modern wrestling fans. WWE is...
Or for the marks.
Marks.
Or for the marks. Let's be clear.
Marks, modern wrestling fans. Tomato. WWE is WWE is for because they claim they're for kids, but they're really not. I guess they're for the casual wrestling fans who know at least some of these people. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, AEW, they're more.
I can tell you what. Sorry to cut you off, Drew. I can tell you what though. NXT ain't for kids.
Oh no.
You feelings? I don't give a shit. You want a friend? Get a dog. I love that last night. That gonna be a star, man. I love that guy. He's his dad in one, man.
I just wish they would to call him Braun Breaker though. I refuse to call him that.
know. I call him Braun Steiner.
Braun Breaker, it's okay. But
Braun Breaker.
Him, Ridge Holland, and Brutus Creed as a group, like the Reform Varsity Club, I'm all about that.
Oh, hey, you know what? The Creed brothers, yeah, and Holland, yeah, I think that could work. That could work. Seriously.
I
Why not? If they all, yeah, I agree with you too, man. I think that can work. I think that can seriously work, man. You have that guy be the talker of it, man. You got some good shit, man.
Fair Roderick Strong. I actually have a bet with someone that Roderick Strong will be released before Christmas.
You know what? I think time will tell. I think if Vince McMahon has his eyes on NXT like we think he does, and Nick Khan does too, I think Roderick Strong will be at the door by Christmas. You're not far off on that.
And then more than likely Kyle and Kevin Paulo and Sami Zayn. So, Ring of Honor people are going to go to AEW. So.
They can, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Kyle and Roddy, it's done. If Cole ain't there, it's done. Let's be honest, Cole was the only thing that was like shining, like with them all together having the swagger. That's why I thought it was dumb when they broke up the Undisputed Era, because them four together they were together. Apart, no, nobody give a damn about no Bobby Fish, 45 years old, getting injured every other month. Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly. Cool Kyle, more like dorky Kyle. Fuck out of here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Roderick Strong. His whole entire career is made of the only amount of success Roderick Strong has ever had as a longtime fan of his is when he's been associated with somebody to do the talking for him or somebody that has more charisma than him. Austin Aries, fucking what's his name, Willie, Bruce Marty, even fucking made him like something special, and that guy has no charisma either. But I mean, Roddy's always been a part of something. He was never the big deal. He was a part of something.
So yeah, I mean, now too, and then he's their feature player. Thank Malcolm can talk for him, but I mean, yeah, exactly. Roddy just looks ridiculous in between the Creed brothers and even that guy Suzuki, who's much bigger than him. It just looks silly.
It's scarier. Like that guy does. Like at least I can feel that guy can whip my ass. Creed brothers, those guys are legit, man. Especially the one with the bigger neck. Holy shit! But the chick, I can believe she can take me down with a fucking judo throw. You see those arms? See those guns on that girl?
Yeah, you would like that too much.
Holy shit!
I think you can do that with an only.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of other people are doing it. Why not?
All right, so to the matter at hand, the PWI 500. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna do 500. You guys want to do like 25, or you want to do more?
Whatever you say. We're the head of the table.
Yeah.
Acknowledge. No. All right, so let's do. How much time do we have on Spreaker? We have an hour and a half. Let's do 30. You guys want to do 30?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, let's do the top 30 of the PWI 500. Number 30 is Nick Aldis.
Fair enough.
What, do you have like 5 matches this year?
That's actually fair enough. I mean, despite him being, the NWA World Champion or whatnot, he's only had like Jed, he's only had a few matches, man, and that's not enough to really justify a top 10 spot, despite you being a world champion. So, I mean, I think 30's fine for him for what he's put in. But then the flip side of the championship that he carries, like, that's the only reason why he could be in the top 30, despite not putting in a lot of work as maybe the other people that are above him.
That's fine. It's 30. He's got a world championship. So I mean, sure, it's NWA and it's not really a promotion, and they have 8 people who work for them. But sure, fine, whatever.
Ruben.
Yeah, like everyone was saying, it's a good spot, considering, uh, considering he's in NWA and they didn't have a lot of matches. Like, so I know, like, lower card guys had more matches than he did, so it's like, yeah. But, yeah, like, that's the spot for him.
Let the record show that Nick Aldis is ranked ahead of Jacob Fatu, Cesaro, Pac, Adam Page, and AJ Styles. Number 29
Hawk?
is Pac.
Who's Hawk?
No, Pac.
Hawk.
Pac. There. I'm sorry. Pac, not Pac. Pac.
Him being the head of Jacob Fatu is ridiculous.
Yeah, agreed. Number 29 is Evil. I don't know who that is.
New Japan.
New Japan.
Often considered the worst IWGP champion maybe ever. I don't really follow New Japan. I liked Evil and Sonata 6 years ago when they were here. I am jealous that he's married to Io Shirai, so I hate him and I want him to be. I don't really care about this one. I don't. I mean, he had a championship this year, I guess, part of the year, but I wouldn't put him in my top 30.
He's a great wrestler and everything. I mean, he fits that New Japan style. I preferred him better when he was on Los Ingobernables because at least, they were a bunch of, misfits together. Him and Bullet just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Especially him wearing that fucking ballerina skirt and guy liner. Like, what the fuck is that, man? Like, he shit. He does, but he's
weird. I mean, it's like they all have to be like anime characters. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's one thing too. Like everybody, yeah, you're right. And but like I said, he's a good wrestler, great ability, but it's just like fuck, dude, like shit physically, man. And you're part of one of the worst parts of Bullet Club, so there you go, pal.
Ruben.
Yikes. So let me get this straight. Evil is, I know why. Talking about AJ Styles here. So Evil's above AJ Styles. I think he's won championship, but is him fit? I just don't have much to say. Don't really care. Good wrestler, just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Number 28 is Walter.
Oh, he should be higher, honestly. I mean, this guy's had some fucking matches. In defending the championship and just in all manner and fashion. Like, Walter's a killer, man. Like, he's good, man. He's really good. A guy that he does more than the average big man, but still so settle. Works such a settle style. Good. This is stuff. It's just me.
I guess so. Yeah, like he's had so many classic matches. Every match he had, I've never been bored. Just see him to for me, I'm like, yeah, that Phil should be more in professional wrestling, more big men that are just larger than life, can go and they can make, obviously themselves, look good as shit. Hits real, feels real, and, can make the other guy look good. There's usually, people that are smaller and just had some time to kill watching it at work, and I was like, wow, like this match was, and even though in defeat, he still looked good. And for me, I'm like, been champion so long, he should be high on the list. But again, this list is not the end all be all, but he should definitely be a lot higher. That is like without a doubt.
You see who? Jeff. I know you're not, but what do you think?
Given who votes, I'm surprised he isn't higher, but I have no issue with him being 28.
So number 27.
Jungle Boy.
Lay it on me.
Braun Strowman.
What? This guy's been fired. And he had shitty matches.
Oh boy. Jeff, care to comment?
I mean, I'm not happy he was fired. I like Braun Strowman, but I don't like the act that they gave him and the lines, and I guess sometime in this calendar year he held the world championship for a very short period of time. I think he's the Roman took it from in that three-way when he came back in SummerSlam. That said, he wouldn't make my top 30. I mean, like Ruben said, I think he got let go within this calendar year also, and it doesn't look like anyone rushed to pick him up. So no, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure he'd make it into my top 100. I mean, as a physical specimen, he's an attraction and awesome, but on the wrestling scale, the 27's too high.
Choo choo.
Exactly.
Choo choo, man. Braun Strowman.
who's also a dual winner of the RE award for World. Just thought I'd point that out. You remember that?
Braun Strowman versus the indie wrestler.
Yeah, you were there. He got tied.
Yeah, of course.
He got two matches of his got tied for worst match of the year. His match with Goldberg, Mania, and his swamp match with Braun. So
yeah,
the swamp match. No, listen. It's like if you got the tighter that, it would have been.
There you go.
It's like the movie Brightburn. It wasn't good, but if somebody remade it and retweaked it, there's a great movie in there. There was a great story in there somewhere.
It was still shitty, Jeff.
I agree. The execution, it was very Batman versus Superman.
Number 26, MJF.
Cool. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I think I am too. I mean, frankly, I'm surprised he didn't make the top 10, given who votes.
Me too.
But sure. Yeah, 26, why not?
Ruben.
It's a modern day Bobby Heenan sort of crossed with Roddy Piper.
Yeah, like MJF, like I mentioned earlier, cuts great promos, character work. He's an actual heel versus a lot of the heels are now in the business. They want to be cool. They don't want to be boots. They just want to be cool and be edgy. But MJF is one of those people who you actually hate and you want to see get their ass kicked by, babyface. And yeah, like he's one of the highlights of Dynamite. So yeah, that's certain people should be above him, but of course I have no issue with him being on that spot.
And RJ, I don't know if you said anything. What's your opinion?
I'm cool with it. You already know how I feel about MJF. I'm cool.
Nice. Number 25, Kazuchika Okada, or just Okada.
Oh.
Did he do anything this year?
Not anything of note.
Then he doesn't belong there. I mean, this is just on reputation alone.
More than likely.
Or past.
Yeah, to me, Okada hasn't done anything that really stood out to me this year. That's just speaking. Yeah, you're right about that too. And about it also is that Meltzer himself hasn't even fucking been wilding out about New Japan at least. So
he has AEW. he has AEW, to fill that void. So
He's got Tony Khan's cock in his mouth. That's what he's got.
5 stars.
Whoa!
Cum shot. 5.5 stars. Excelsior.
It was the greatest thing I've ever tasted. 6 stars.
Is that pineapple? 6 stars.
Strawberry.
This is better than Kenny Omega's. 9 stars.
I'm not playing this game.
Sorry, Jeff. Let's move on. Number 20.
I have my own vices.
Fair enough. Number 24. The newly Keith Barrett lead.
How? I guess it's NXT, but when did that end? I'm surprised. I like Keith Lee, but
Well, let's. This list is going from July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. So, yeah.
So I guess he had the NXT title for a period of time. I mean, Cross took it from him, then Cross was gone for like 5 months, and Keith Lee on the main roster since what? A little bit after the Royal Rumble, or was it before Royal Rumble?
He came on the main roster after Takeover.
It was after the Rumble. He was gone from Elimination Chamber up until what, last month?
Yeah, I don't know how he made it in here. He just
He's absentee.
I mean, I like the guy. I'm rooting for him, but top
too.
25? Nah, I don't see it.
Yeah, me neither. That's a far cry.
Ruben?
yeah, I mean, when he was in NXT, like he was dual champion. Took North American champion and he took the NXT title from Adam Cole. So that was pretty dope. But then after that, like when he was called up, didn't do much. They botched his debut. I love the guy. Like I became a big fan of Keith Lee when he debuted in NXT, and when he had a Survivor Series, squaring up with, and like he did some good shit, but it's like ever since whole stint with COVID and all the complications, and then just booking, just catastrophe. Yeah, like he should be a lot lower, but again, like us being fans of him doesn't mean that he should be higher. Like he should be a lot lower.
Next, number 23, Keiji Muto.
Who?
Great Muda?
No. Keiji Muto?
That's Great Muda.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah. I have not seen it. I haven't seen a match of his. Meltzer's influence, maybe?
Is he like the Dragon Gate champion? I mean, who cares?
Yeah, nobody watches that. Sorry.
Ruben?
Yeah. I gotta pass. I gotta pass. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I mean, if 2 or 4 of us have even heard of the person, they don't belong in the top 23.
Exactly. Number 22, the Laredo Kid.
God, no.
I like the little kid, but that's too fucking high. I mean, I'm not privy to anything he's done in Mexico, but he did have a good run last year from last September up until earlier this year, where he had a shitty match with Andrade. That was Andrade's fault more than anything. But besides that, this high, I don't know. And I like Laredo Kid. I think he's good, but that high, new.
He's a fine luchador, but I mean, he wouldn't even be in my top 20 luchador. So,
yeah, he wouldn't either.
Again, the thing he did of note is he unified. Well, he lost the unification match with Leo Rush for the middle weight and the cruiserweight or light heavyweight in the middleweight championship, and then Leo Rush did something stupid, or MLW and AAA had a falling and that didn't happen. So,
Yes.
I don't get it. I don't know who voted. I think that one is maybe
Ridiculous.
more absurd than the Keith Lee one.
I agree.
Pass. Hard pass.
All right, fair enough. Number 21, Orange Cassidy.
What?
During his short run, he was over, quote unquote, after Jericho pretty much buried him.
Doesn't make any sense. Oh god, yeah, pass. I don't have anything to say about that.
I'm just gonna say this. He should be much lower. I don't mind the guy. Like I'm a bit of a fan of his, but he should be way lower. Way lower. That's just me. But I'm sure everyone here can get, they agree. But he should be a lot lower on the list.
Oh, without a doubt, man.
When used properly, like he was year one of AEW, right through that street match with PNP and Best Friends, all of that he was used. And then when they started pushing him as a star, I mean, I know he's over a segment of AEW fans, but everybody's over with that segment of AEW fans. I mean, if they're to be believed, John Silver is a star, who's probably number 20. No, I don't think Orange Cassidy is 21. I mean, if he was 50, I wouldn't agree with it, but I couldn't argue it because, I mean, he's certainly one of the more prominent wrestlers in AEW, and he does seem to be something that appeals to people being introduced to wrestling going, oh, that's funny. And there's been some, and listen, there have been some funny moments. It's like his act should be much staler than it is, but sometimes I'll give credit to him for creating a character that's completely unusual. And the stuff with Sting actually made me laugh out loud. But again, this is a guy that's maybe 137 pounds, soaking wet. At least he looks athletic. Well, no, I'm not seeing it, but at least I understand that one. I don't understand the last 4 or 5.
Right, I'm with you there too.
Yep.
Number 20 is a John, but not the one Jeff Lippman said. Jonathan Gresham.
Well, I mean, he deserves that.
You know what? Good for Ring of Honor for getting someone named. Gresham, basically started the wrestling revival with, I think only Ring of Honor fans still care about. But in the beginning, it was getting a lot of praise. Now not so much. But, I mean, no one in Ring of Honor should be in the top 20. No one in Ring of Honor should be in the top 75. If they're going to give, someone a spot just for having a title, then it'd be the World Champion, then it should be Roosh, who didn't have a great year either. I mean, Ring of Honor barely ran most of the year as well, so I don't get it. So, no, I think that Jonathan Gresham, even if they wanted to give it, if he was like 87, I think that would be a great honor for Jonathan Gresham.
I agree with that.
Ruben.
Pass. Don't watch Ring of Honor. But if he's a pure wrestler, it's cool. Just respect that. But again, it's Ring of Honor. They haven't had much shows going on, and it's I mean, I'm glad that they're back, but it's like, damn, it's like not much exposure. Like I
you know who their champion is now?
Say that again.
You know who their world champion is right now?
Who?
You don't know. Right, that's how good a job they're doing.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, oh god. Oof.
Bandito is a nice mid card, but world champ. No, sorry.
He's a perfectly talented wrestler, very good lucha, but world champion material. I mean, talk about zero buzz.
It's a hard stretch.
Hey.
That's
Number 19, Chris Jericho.
Sure, why not?
Chris Bellygoat.
Coming. Number 19.
He's-
Number 19. Not mine.
He's still large, in large regard, still
large.
guys-
He's still large, all right.
He's larger. Large belly.
Just to- all right, listen, I feel personally attacked now. I mean, just for doing the narration on Dark Side of the Ring, I think he, that's in the top 20. Yeah. I can't quibble with this.
Yeah, I mean the Dark Side of the Ring stuff. On in AEW, that's prominently featured. Just the other things he's been doing, contributing, towards wrestling. I say that's a fair. I mean, I will put him a little lower, but again, considering what he does for Dark Side of the Ring, and he's a legend at this point in his career. Why not? Like it's a little, but it's,
Brave enough to go on the Broken Skull sessions during this.
yeah.
Number not 19. Number 18. You guys are gonna have to help me with this. Suwama.
I don't even know who the fuck that is, so pass.
Yeah, I can't help you with that. So again, I'm going to go against.
Pass.
Okay, I don't know who the fuck that is. Number 17. Ultimo Guerrero.
Don't know who that is. Well, he's in AAA or CMLL, but I don't watch it, so I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for anyone where the promotion is absolutely broke. No.
Yeah.
Against.
Pass. Just hard pass. I'm sorry. These names, maybe a diehard wrestling fan that doesn't watch WWE may know these, a lot of these guys, but it's just a hard pass.
I mean, this spot is something where somebody like Omos should be, who maybe isn't the greatest wrestler, but has made an enormous impact this year.
Right.
Number 16. Karrion Kross.
This is going to hurt me. I think he's high. I understand that he was the 2-time NXT champion. I like it. I'm glad for him. I'm glad for the position, but I mean, his NXT character, I think, deserves it, but his WWE until recently has it, and it's still a little bit discombobulated. But okay, good. Yeah, listen, good for him. If he can ride this to some sort of IWC, like I really feel like I said this on my show, that I feel like the poor guy is sort of the embodiment of the war between old fogies like myself, who like the big muscle guys, who are good enough in the ring, but maybe aren't, spectacular flippy-do guys. But it's just like him against everyone else that's a flippy-do. Him against Ring of Honor. Him against AEW. It's MLW. It's like, if you like that kind of stuff, you hate Karrion Kross. People in WWE aren't even buying Karrion Kross. And like all this is encapsulated in this one, sort of weird push, but good for him for getting 16. I would have put him further back. But...
Yes, and you're right. I mean, I have pretty much everything you said. Yeah, I think it's NXT cred than anything main roster. That silly outfit, him wearing the stripper shredder outfit, yeah, that's just very, very, very weird, and I have no idea why. They've done
lost the smaller helmet, so he had to go back to the bigger one.
Jesus Christ, yeah, man, it's so weird what's going on with him right now. But props to him for going through it though. Like he's proven that he's a guy that's willing to go through the lumps and do what he can to make it work, and it's more credit to him more than anything. But yeah, I think that he should be a tad bit lower. That's just me.
Ruben.
Yeah. I love Karrion Kross. He's like the wrestler I root for. But I think he should be just a tad bit lower. His NXT, just his body work in NXT, and coming back months ahead of schedule from his injury when he had to relinquish the NXT title, and killed it in NXT. But damn, when he lost, it's a shame because that act could work. Straight up, it could work. In the main roster, got sex appeal and Scarlett. You have just the whole ambiance of his entrance, the whole shtick. But yeah, just what he's done in the main roster it's not worthy for him to be on the list. But hey, he got that high on the list. Props, because we're all Karrion Kross fans. So I'm definitely happy that he's this high on the list. Just being honest, he should be a little bit lower.
I kind of agree. I mean, I'm happy where he's at. He was ranked maybe a little lower, and by low I don't mean like in the 30s or mid 20s, but maybe just like probably 4 or 5 spots down. That's just me. But yeah, I'm a Karrion Kross. We're all pulling Kross fans. We're all pulling for him, but we're just kind of calling it.
Oh, I decrypted the code. If you guys pay every 4 and every word, it actually says, "I love you, Kevin Castle."
Well, I don't love Kevin Castle.
Kevin Castle's a goat.
He's the goat. He's an old goat. I'm playing. Number 15.
He is an old. He's one of the few people older than me that old.
Yeah. Number Tetsuya Naito.
Destino, like Naito's my guy and everything. Once again, these guys have been wrestling at a consistent basis, man. Anybody from New Japan, CMLL, AAA, Ring of Honor that's on this list is invalid as far as I'm concerned, because they have not been running shows all year long. I'm a huge fan. Like Naito, Japan, but it's just like no, bro, like nah. Tony at best, but no, like, and that's the difference between me and Marks. Like, Marks would be like, "Oh yeah, like he should be there and nothing less." But no, bro, we gotta be honest, man. Like, he should not be that high on the list, because what has he done all year long? Not much. Except lose Eve. He lost to Evil. It's the only thing he's known for.
He already busted up his knee again, which, I mean, his knees are already made of Rice Krispies.
That too, yeah, exactly. So they are delicious, but I don't know how he feels about his knee running into him right now.
Yeah, not his bones.
Oh man, like exposed to him and New Japan back when WWE was at one of their lowest points. I mean, kind of at the lowest point right now, but Naito and his faction, like, was pretty dope, and just the fact that he just didn't give a shit, just throwing the title, just fuck shit. Like, I love that attitude, and
it's different.
But this year, yeah, it's different. Like, I was, okay, this, friends introduced me to New Japan. I was like, okay, but just with New Japan, it's just too. You gotta just dedicate a lot of time to one wrestling company, because it's Japan, and it's just, you got to catch up on everything. So yeah, as far as Naito being that high and been doing much of importance, and he lost to Evil, like
yeah, no, right? That's just disgusting.
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, oh, that's true. Next. Yeah, so I'm in that same camp. He should be a lot lower. Love the guy, and I love his crispy treats. Probably he does too, but yeah. It's, and trust me, I had a few boxes. I don't know how I could manage to do so, but yeah, like, He should not be that high on the list. That's just like, and that's everyone's sentiment here, and I definitely follow that sentiment.
All right, number 15, not 15, number 14, Darby Allin.
Fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
He's not my pick, but I get it.
Yeah, fine with
And as long as he's done work. Like, he's done, he's been working all year, and he's been, for me personally, he's been one of the best about AEW. So, like, I'm cool with that.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, he's been doing a lot of work. A lot of his matches were good. His shit is crispy, and yeah, like, people for the most part aren't like, they just can't get behind him because he's like, what, 140, 145, 150.
The dude's 95 pounds, but that's just me.
Yeah, like that was my feeling in the beginning, but he's been there since the start. And the fact that he had so many matches, so many moments, he was NXT champion, which Darby Allin brought up to MJF. Like, he's the only one between them that has won a title. So it's like, yeah, but yeah, I have no problem. Like, again, compared to the other people on the list, yeah, like, I have no problems with him being on, that number on this list.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if next year he's maybe a little higher on the list. I mean, kind of like with Sam, like I said before, I've done a 180 on Darby Allin where, CM Punk had said, any guy who watches Darby Allin do a dive should probably stop doing dives because Darby has perfected the dive. Because he looks like he's fucking Sonic the Hedgehog, just speeding at eating you, and it looks like it hurts. And Jeff said, his dives are pretty crisp. I'm sorry. So I'm fine with him. Number 13, Big E.
I'll guess I'll go first. Yeah, Big E. Again, big fan guy. I'm all like criticism aside of how he won the world title. WWE is one of the biggest world titles. I'm all for him. I think he's he's fine where he's at. I think he could be just a tad, but considering he's WWE champion, yeah, like, I have no problem. I do have a problem, however. I feel like they should have waited from either done it at SummerSlam where it made sense, or wait till like later down the line for him to to cash in, because you have a whole year to build things up for his big cash in, but they just did it because, again, AEW is knocking around, and they did that, and it's just besides all that, when he was IC champ, when he had a few decent matches, so I'm okay. But now he's WWE champ, so yeah, like, it's deserving.
In the time frame that this award, this voting takes place, and I find this a little curious because he had sort of an odd year. Like, he had some weird character things. Like, at times he seemed like he was sort of losing his mind, almost like Joker. I think his eyes very not memorable, which is not uncommon with IC runs these days. Nevertheless, if you were on potential and charisma, I get it, and if you were taking into account what's happened since, sure. But if this, I mean, I don't think it'd be this high. I mean, top 50, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Big E, but I want to see what comes before. Again, I think there were people who had more impactful years, like AJ, like Riddle, almost, James, I think, had a magnificent year. So
I would agree with that as a huge Sheamus critic. I would agree with that.
And there's people in AEW also who I think had magnificent years, and just by the numbers, obviously, some of them aren't going to make it. I mean, we'll wait and see. But I like Big E. I just think this is it's like a year ahead. I guess next year, if he holds his title for any appreciable amount of time, he'll be in the top.
Right.
Go ahead, RJ.
No, I agree with Jeff. Like, Big E hasn't done anything really, really big. Jeff said it all. Like, their Continental Championship run was kind of, it started off nice, but it kind of went down a slippery slope. Like, most IC title runs, it seems promising in the beginning, and then it's just like, it's nothing after a while. He hasn't really done anything since. And like Jeff said, if this ended at June 30th, it was like, whatever. But if you take the last month and a half into consideration, then yeah, sure. But that's not what they're going by, though. So it's almost like, why is this guy so high?
I mean, even before his title run, they were still like credence of a top guy. He's over with the fans. You'll see. I mean, I don't even know if Big E even has a shirt, but you'll see. New Day shirts. The crowd loves Big E. Love Big E. He's funny and he can be serious. You can sympathize with him. He can be sympathetic. No problem with it. Yeah, like Jeff said, next year he's going to be in the top 10, maybe top 5. Number 12 is going to be Randy Orton.
Orton had a good year. The matches with Drew were good. The stuff with the Fiend and Alexa was kind of like, eh. But everything he's done since then has been pretty good. The stuff with Riddle has been good. In my opinion, some of the best parts are Raw.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
In my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah. I have a big quarrel with this. I don't know who the 11 are in front of him and who aren't. And I suspect there's some people I would prefer to be in this position. And Orton could be in some of the positions of, like, let's just say the 2 or 3 people that none of us knew who they were, or Laredo Kid, or Ultimo Guerrero, exactly. But, I mean, I don't have any quarrel with Randy. This whole COVID era, he's been, a top 5 guy in WWE during this COVID era. Then again, this COVID era during WWE, fairly dreadful. So, I mean, I sort of have mixed feelings about it. But, listen, he's Randy freaking Orton, so okay.
Yeah.
Orton, he's been one of the MVPs. Considering the stuff he's been doing with Riddle, he's been one of the bright spots on Raw. Him, Riddle, Sheamus, McIntyre when he was, when he wasn't overexposed. Just one of those guys that's a future Hall of Famer, has been sometimes at weeks carrying Raw. I'm a fan of Orton's and where he's at. Yeah, I really don't mind his placement on this list.
All right, now we're gonna go to the top. 11 is gonna be Homelander, Cody Rhodes.
Any surprise there? Pass.
Too high. I mean, he's been a part-time artist, and he's been in some very weird programs. And his best program has been with Malachi Black, which after the voting period closed. The thing with Go was weird. The stuff is weird. We haven't seen a Go-Go since. So
Camarato, Solo, a Go-Go.
Maybe, but I don't know if that counts. And this is not supposed to count whatever management or promotional role he has or doesn't have, depending on the quality of that report you read. But no, I mean, I guess I get it, but I don't. AEW almost years old on TV, 2 years old in creation and having those 4 summer pay-per-views. So I don't think Cody gets it just for putting the shit together anymore. I think that would be last year. As far as in-ring, no. I mean, I'd probably put him in top 50 or 60, but not 11.
Agreed.
Yeah, just what Jeff said. Yeah, just a lot of Cody's stuff has just been but his, the feud with Malachi Black, has been, great. And it's a shame it's not, counted towards it's Cody. It's Cody Rhodes.
This is the spot where Miro deserves to be, and he's probably not on the list anywhere near this area.
Probably a lot lower.
I mean, I can look up names after this, but number 10.
That's all right.
Now we're in the top 10. RJ's gonna love this. Number 10, Rich Swan.
What? Being a crackhead world champion? Oh my god. Get out of here, man. Oh.
Can you handle it?
Really?
Can you handle it? Ooh, ooh, ah.
Welcome to the party. Like, he's most known for his theme songs, man. Like, come on. Like, this guy is 10? What?
Oh, Lord.
Miro better be on the world champion and Rich fucking Swan. What the hell?
I think Impact Wrestling went into their budget, their annual budget, to put with Swan on the list. That's
they tapped into that old Dixie Carter money.
Yeah.
What was that? That partner company they had that they was getting money from for a good bit company?
Oh,
Panda Energy. They was tapping that Panda Energy company. They was tapping into that budget there.
The owners.
Yeah, they took it and floated Rich Swan's name in there. Oh my god, really? And I like Rich Swan, but it's just like, dude, like his world championship reign sucked, and it only served the purpose to stuff the fat pig that was called Kenny Omega. So, yep. Fucking trash.
He had a match with Kenny Omega. It's a 6-star.
That wasn't even all that good. Rich Swan gave his own self a concussion during that match. Just tell you everything you need to know. Ooh, yeah. God damn it. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the bullshit list.
I can't handle this now.
Number 9. I don't even know who the fuck this is. Shingo Takagi.
Oh, Shingo.
Well, I know who this is, at least.
This guy's a fucking machine, bro. He's a fucking monster. Dragon. One of the he's the current IWGP World Champion. He's the beast of Los Ingobernables. Swapped Evil out for him, and it's been gravy ever since.
Oh, he left the Empire already?
Who, Shingo? Shingo was never in the Empire.
Oh, he wasn't. Who's the other guy who's in the Empire?
That's the Great Old Khan, or whatever the fuck his name is. That's the other guy that wears the shark teeth.
Oh, well, I thought it was Shingo Takagi, so what do I know?
Shingo's way better than that guy. That guy's green as grass, man. He's trash.
He had the championship for a part of the
nothing but banger matches too, by the way, for what it's worth.
Yeah, as few as there were, but right. To that point where people are getting elected just because they held a championship, like Rich Swan, like Nick Aldis. I mean, I don't obviously thinking of the wrong guy, or at least put him in the wrong faction, but he wouldn't be in my top 9 anyway. No one in New Japan would be in because they're just not that big a promotion. I feel like they have
Niche
lost.
audience.
Yeah, I think they've lost a lot of their momentum in their audience, and I think they have They have AEW to blame for that because they've sort of taken it, and they have partly themselves to blame because they've got New Japan Strong, and they keep feeding New Japan Strong some of their guys, and then some of their guys are like, yeah, we're not going back to Japan because we don't know if we can work there, so we're staying here.
Yep.
But
And let's not kid ourselves. A lot of their Western audience, or a lot of their Western talent, is the reason why people watch them too. It's not strictly for the Japanese guys. Some of the American guys are some of the reasons why people watch.
yeah, there's 10 Bullet Club shirts for every Okada shirt.
Exactly. You're right. We're not joking sarcastic jokes. That's just a god on.
No, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen an Okada shirt. I see Bullet Club shirts all the time.
Mm-hmm. Same. See
Ruben,
Bullet Club shirts. I see a Lost and Goblin Noble shirt here and there, but mostly Bullet Club.
But they sort of lost it when they lost the Naito, Evil, Sonata, the Bushi, that whole little group. That was their holy grail time.
I got to pass because I haven't been keeping up with New Japan, but I mean, at least Evil isn't holding the world title from New Japan. Like,
Yeah, no, right? Thank God.
all right, we got until Spreaker cuts us off, so let's speed through these next 8. We already know who the top 2 are. Number 8.
Nice body of work from last year until around the time this list was comprised. So why not?
Agreed.
Finn Balor put on nothing but great matches, great stiff matches. I mean, he was the great NXT champion that second go around.
Yeah, his matches with Cross I thought were great. The 2 matches I thought were great. I liked him in NXT. I mean, because you saw more serious Finn. Him on 8, I think that's fair. Littman.
I think he brought it in NXT. I think he was terrific. Nobody watched. But I think he did his job, and he was a good champion and played the role. I mean, he was hurt a couple times, but I don't know. I mean, you never really felt it. I mean, the big controversy was Keith Lee got stripped for far less time and sort of carrying Cross. So Finn got treated differently, or they just didn't have other plans. But when he worked hard. He worked through broken jaw. So I don't really have a problem with this.
All right. Number 7, Will Ospreay.
Guy was injured.
Yeah. Didn't he break his neck and only started wrestling like 3 months ago?
I think.
Exactly. He was injured. What the fuck?
I just say so now.
He turned heel, formed the Empire like late last year. Then he got hurt. He was out for the most part of this. That's why they had the tournament. That's why Shingo's the champion.
I mean, this is someplace where Miro should have been.
Right. I agree.
Frickin' MVP. I know he doesn't wrestle, but Jesus, he's been the best thing in WWE, not named Roman.
I agree with that.
Ruben.
Again, another person I haven't been keeping much tabs on, unfortunately, so I got to pass.
All right, number 6.
I will.
There was no tabs to keep, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, Jon Moxley.
Fair. I mean, he was champion last year. Had good matches.
Yeah,
it's fair. I mean,
it's fair. I'm only just sad that I know that neither Miro nor Sheamus are there's not room for all of them, and all of them belong in the top 10, or at least top 5.
I agree with that. Like I said, biggest critic of Sheamus, but you cannot deny the year that he's had. He has been in his bag.
Yeah, basically 2 years of just solid shit, man. Working with everyone, but yeah, okay. But I mean, listen, Moxley is probably the biggest star in AEW, whether people want to, admit it or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, until the two guys they just added, and Danielson.
Right.
Go ahead, Ruben.
Moxley, yeah, like it's again, he was champ last year, and this year he's been. I can say this. I enjoyed a lot of his work this year. Just a tad bit more. You know, he's been doing this whole thing. Just, you know, some of the stuff he's been doing in New Japan. So some of the stuff in New Japan that I did watch, but yeah, like I enjoyed his. You know, this year I enjoyed that. I enjoy what Moxley was doing. Like it's like his role is much better now. That's his role. But yeah, like he was number one last year. He's still top 10.
And I don't care what anyone says, I think he is the biggest reason why whatever the forbidden door is that's open, it's because of him, and that's because New Japan realized that Omega wasn't a star in North America and Moxley was, and they realized that by accident they actually made themselves a better deal and can get whatever they want, and they just send over their AARP Senior Citizen Corps here, and the crowd goes crazy, and they get Moxley and New Japan strong cards, and eventually in Japan, and which is and then Yakuza is going to be mad at them.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead.
And I'll not say this because I'm sorry to say Kenny isn't as big of a star as people made him out to be. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Agreed.
it's not. And in the beginning, I liked Omega, but it's more and more now. He's in the big leagues. He's a legitimate brand, competition. There's just no way. There's absolutely no way that he's a big deal. He's a decent enough deal, but not a big deal.
Yeah.
Where his name can carry all over. I'm sorry.
He's the mainstream name. He's never gonna be.
No.
It's terrible without Don Callis as a persona.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now we're at the top 5. Number 5, Kota Ibushi.
Fine. He was in the mix for the title too. Had good matches, so yeah, that's fine. But New Japan standards, those who watched it can vouch for that. I have no problems with it being the fact that he's in the mix. He was up and running. He was champion too, so that's fine. I have no problems with it.
Did keep up with Kota, and I remember first exposure to him was at the G1 Supercard and here in the Garden here in New York, and the dude has no neck. He could just roll the shit, and absolutely he does not care about his neck whatsoever. And It seems like he still does not give a fuck about his neck whatsoever. And for that, he should be a number 5. But in all seriousness, yeah, like he's been in the mix in New Japan, so that's I feel like he's one of those pillars there in New Japan. So I have no problem. Like I'm Kota.
Lippman.
I'm going to say no because New Japan hasn't operated enough of their people to be in the top 25. So nothing against him. I know who he is actually, and I know that he's considered a good wrestler and all that great stuff. But New Japan just hasn't been operating enough this past year.
That's right.
Right. I mean, I've really seen him was the Cruiserweight Classic, and when they had that New Japan thing in Southern California a few years ago, and I had any exposure to him. So I haven't been keeping up with New Japan, unfortunately. Number 4 is Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I mean, he was the champion for a lot of the year. He tried his heart out. I mean, he's got the look, and I think he got over for a while. But like with everything with WWE, they overexpose it until he's boring. I mean, you know, and well, I'm not lately because lately doesn't count for this time. If you're the WWE champion for 10 months out of the year, 6 months out of the voting period, then you get into the top 5. I mean, that seems to make sense.
Yeah, total sense. I mean, like Jeff said, he tried his heart out. He carried the company on his back during the dark time. Yeah, I mean, this is justified for him. You know, he put on matches, and he had some good stuff, some good moments as champion. But yeah, I mean, it's fair enough for Drew. Fair enough.
Yeah, as he carried Raw, the early WWE on his back during, the COVID era. But yeah, just overexposure has, and that's the WWE specialty. That's the Bruce and Vince special. Overexposure, taking a good idea and just, milking it until it's dry and then taking the carcass and trying to milk that. But I'm a fan of Drew, the overexposure, him, being in the title picture when he doesn't deserve it. And again, it just shows testament to when WWE's back against the wall and they have no choice. I felt like McIntyre, should have been pushed, a long while ago, but he was in Dolph Ziggler, of all people, was in a faction with that and Corbin. Oh God,
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, and looking at Lashley, yeah, look how the ties are turned. But
who better be number 3, by the way?
Is
yeah,
good.
But yeah, Drew, he's got the spot. He did a lot in the last year. Yeah, just he could have been a lot more, but just WWE had no choice but to push him when dealing with COVID and everything. So, yeah.
And I was gonna say about Drew, RJ can attest by this because I was always a Drew supporter. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Joey Numbers even said it, run came at a really bad time. It was almost like watching a Twilight Zone episode. It's like, imagine fulfilling your dreams and then it's in front of nobody. It's like that joke that looks to say, I was champion in front of fucking nobody. Which is, it's funny to think about, but it's sad. So I mean, I always gave Drew support, probably because he's a fellow Drew, which technically his name is Matthew, but whatever. Number 3 is Bobby Lashley.
Good. I mean, you said a better year than this fucking guy, right? I mean, what an absolute monster. Changed my whole complexion about this guy around. I was making fun of this guy, and then I was well known. Me and some of my other friends were making fun of this guy on Twitter, on a weekly basis, of all the stupid promos and all the shit they used to have him do back around 2018, 19. Some of the sudden fuck ups he would make in the ring, certain weird faces he would make. I would just make fun of this guy at nauseam, but flipped after he lost the United States title, and we're off to the races, and we're not making fun of him anymore. This guy is a fucking monster, and was presented well. And I think his championship reign, honestly, was probably one of the best champions that I think WWE had in a long time. That's just me speaking, but 3 well deserved.
As most people know, one of the founding principles of the Hammerlock Hangover podcast was that we were pro Smashley, and I remain pro. And I actually think that Smashley should have been number 1.
I would agree. I would agree with that. I take him way more seriously than fucking Kenny Omega. It looks like a world champion acting.
Yeah, everything. The whole thing was great. I wasn't excited about the Hurt Business just because I thought it was a cool act, but the reason I thought he should be number 1 is because he dominated. And he got more clean wins and easy wins and one-sided wins. Did MVP ever interfere? Yes, he did. But was it always frequent? Not really.
Nope.
Constantly, the members of the Elite were getting involved and doing beatdowns and this, that, and the other thing. Roman, almost always the Usos. Like, maybe he had like 4 matches where the Usos weren't involved at all. I mean, if they were either involved during the match, before the match, whatever the case would be, you had Jimmy, then you had Jay, and you know, you got Heyman doing his thing. So Bobby was the purest, most dominant champion of this time in the whole act work. So I thought he should be number 1, but I can't complain too much about being number 3. Roman is obviously the biggest draw and the biggest star in wrestling, and you know, whether you like Omega or not, he simultaneously held 3 more major world championships simultaneously for most of the year. So, you know,
yeah,
okay. And I'd be disappointed, but I understand that Lashley's number 1 in my heart, but number 3 I'm satisfied with.
I mean, the rest of you guys made like not much to say. With Lashley, always been a fan, and the fact that when he won the big one, and in such dominating fashion, no pun intended, just like we got to get out to the bits for being that sacrificial lamb, you know, just sacrificing himself to Bobby Lashley on a silver platter. It was like
not just the Miz, the Miz, Kofi. I mean.
Yeah, Kofi. That's definitely for sure Kofi. Like,
bitched out Braun Strowman on the way out.
yeah.
Like oh my God, Strowman, man, holy shit! I still remember it like it was the first my job. Like, it was after when we bitched out Braun Strowman on Raw that one night. Well, he picked him up with that one arm spine buster, and I'm like, holy shit. And he just like he speared him and he tapped him out afterwards. I'm just like, God damn.
Yeah, like Bobby Lashley. Like, I'm glad he had a dominating reign. It's a shame that they broke up the Hurt Business, and it's a shame that, you know, his reign ended. Because to be honest, I would have had him keep the belt until next year. That's just me, but. That's what we'll have. But again, he
should have had a full 1 year reign.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, no problems with him being being number 3. I'd rather him be number 1 than Roman Reigns being number 2 than number 20. I don't fucking care. But with Bobby Lashley being on being this high.
Agreed. I mean, Lashley has been one of the more dominant champions. It was cool. Raw, you saw Bobby Lashley, and SmackDown, and you see, which is Roman Reigns. We already know who number 1 is. It's Kenny Omega, because, I mean, come on, we already knew how that was going to work. I mean, it should have been Roman and number 1. More than likely have Kenny be number 2 or 3 or 4. I'm fine with, and Lashley should be 2 or 3, because they've all just been very dominant. Because I mean, for Kenny, like, he hasn't really beat anybody. To be fair, he hasn't really that much. Whereas Roman has actually been carrying this company on his back, and during the COVID era, and now that we got fans back, I mean, we're technically still in a pandemic, but not really. And then, you look at Roman. Roman's beaten Cena. Roman's beaten Edge. He beat both Daniel. He hired Daniel Bryan from the WWE. I mean, he's beaten other names, Kevin Owens, and pretty soon he's going to fight Brock. And then he just fought Finn. I mean, again, wrestling it's predetermined, but it's just like when you're doing this list for a sport that you need to look at the facts. I mean, who exactly? Nobody.
Yep.
I mean, Moxley but that's about it. And he technically didn't beat Danielson. Roman beat Danielson twice, and he beat Edge
And clean.
twice, clean.
Yep.
And he beat Cena.
There's a whistle.
But
That's kind of bad. He beat Jungle Boy, Moxley. What's the face? Yeah, I know he had a couple matches.
Phoenix.
It was title versus title with Rich Swan. It was a title versus title with Callahan.
He beat Moose.
Moose, right? Phoenix, right?
Everybody beats Moose. So that's nothing special.
Swan.
Yeah, it's true. Chris Sabin beat Moose.
Yep.
I mean, didn't he beat Matt Sydal once? Like, who cares?
Yeah. They beat Dante Martin too for belt.
Christian.
Dante Martin. Dante Martin, well, Christian also beat him, but Dante Martin is star-making appearance where all he's done is lose since.
Yep.
So
You're right.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like Kenny's on TV all the time, always doing stuff, but I can't really think of anyone he's faced.
The most dialed in wrestler in the business because he takes it seriously, and he also does just the little things he does. I think is great because in reality he doesn't need Heyman, but let's just be real, Heyman and Roman are a great pair because Heyman doesn't really need to do anything, but at the same time he does everything. Like his facial expressions are.
If you've noticed lately, well, we talked about this Monday, but Heyman's been talking a lot more about being told to speak, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Brock Lesnar is hanging around there, and all of a sudden Heyman is speaking his mind a little bit more. He's feeling a little more mouthy around the tribal chief.
Yeah.
Right. And just the thing from the main event wherever he got into the crowd and he put on a mask and he doesn't want to breathe the same air as these idiots. I thought that was funny. I mean that was more Pat McAfee than Roman, but it makes sense for someone like Roman.
Columbus is the Paris of Ohio.
I mean I can't speak on that, but I know Mish hates Ohio, but we have to ask Mish about that. But yeah, that's been the top 25 list. Obviously a lot of names because Nickley's doing this list. Brian Alvarez.
I think the fans vote.
Yeah, the fan. Meltzer is a fan. Alvarez is a fan. But I mean, I don't want to sit here and make up theories that aren't true, but say what I say. Let's kind of tonight, gentlemen. I appreciate you for coming on this historic 200 episode. I appreciate you for being a part of, my journey through these.
Was it big enough for you?
It was big. It was huge. It was enormous. God damn it.
Et cetera, et cetera.
It's enormous, isn't it? That's what he would say to Pat Patterson. Oh.
Oh my god.
And then Pat Patterson would just be like, "Oh, Vince." But no, seriously, all joking aside, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the friends I've made, including these three gentlemen right here that I consider very good friends. I'll just go through all, or that sounds kind of weird. I'll go through all three of you. I'll start listing.
Oh god.
I'm going to go through all three because I'm hardcore, damn it. No.
Are you going to 3-1?
3-1. There you go. Bring it on, bitches.
You're going to rate us. Who's number 3? Who's number 2? Who's number 1?
Number 1 is Cody Rhodes. Number 1 is Cody Rhodes. No. Jeff Litton, take the floor, my friend. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Congratulations. 200 shows. That's terrific. Where can you find me? If you want to find me on Twitter, it's IcarusFellMD. I'm not that active on Twitter, but I'm semi-active, I guess. You can reach me and the Hammerlock Hangover at Hammerlock HO. We have a Facebook page, not a you can certainly interact with us there. You can certainly find me by listening to the Hammerlock Hangover podcast, co-hosted with Big Daddy Cool Steve Pena. And Steve, and if you want non-wrestling content, I have a show called of Doom, though one of my guests one week was Jay Black from Ring of Honor, formerly Justin Gabriel, and we talked about African lore and mythology, because he's African. But yeah, it's a exploration of my meandering mind, which often goes to biblical mythology, pan-cultural, commonalities, things like flood myths, Atlantis, but also real things. Like I had a guy that's been in Hollywood 35 years who went through the anatomy of how do you start and end the movie, what does every producer credit, what's their job to do, that. And like things that make me curious. I don't know what Kabbalah is, so I found a guy who's actually Mexican but lives in Israel, and he talked to me about Kabbalah. I didn't know what Black Israelites were. I had a black captain from the local Black Israelite school talk to me for an hour and a half. So just stuff like that I'm curious about, and hopefully you're curious about. Of Doom. I don't even know if I said the name.
Garden of Gloom, great show. Listen to the episode that was in charge of the Son of Sam case. That was a great listen. So go out of your way to listen to that, people.
NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Borelli, led the Son of Sam, led the 1990s World Trade Center bombing case, Howard Beach killings, the assassination of Rabbi Kamani, a bunch of profile stuff in his time.
Yeah, great listen, guys. If you're pretty much everything, the whole basis of Garden of Doom is great listens about history, conspiracy theories, all that. Give it a listen. It's the podcast for you. Next is Mr. RJ, my good friend, my little brother. Tell them where they can find you, my man.
Follow me on Twitter at LilRJ Unlimited. Just chopping it up, kind of make everybody laugh, this, that, and the other. And podcast, Monty and I are actually talking about a little bit to fit Paul. He dropped a little bit of a show yesterday. You can find it, at the Brother Monty podcast. But he's thinking about just rebranding it and it's shaping it for the both of us. And which makes sense because a lot of people are like, "Whoa, you guys do a show together, but it's only credited to one guy, and it's kind of weird." So we're rebranding that and changing some stuff around. So, and we should be back doing shows sometime next week.
Awesome. So, I miss you guys. I love that show.
Yeah, I miss doing it a whole lot too. But it's a lot of real life things kind of sucker punch you in the mouth a little bit. Not specifically me, and I'm not trying to put it all on him. It has to fall on me too because my work schedule and stuff like that is like shit. So, and stuff that he's going through is like, it's the shits too. So, it's just, we just have to. We finally sat down, talked, and we have a starting point that we're aiming for now. So things should be a whole lot more smoother coming soon. So just wish you the best.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that, guys. It's a great listen. I'm not just saying that because they're my friends. It's a truly great listen. And I'm not going to say that. Actually, you know what, RJ? I'm going to blow you for a second.
Oh God.
I'm gonna suck your dick. No.
Open wide.
If you're a fan of Wrestling Soup, you will be a fan of this show.
Oh God, that's big there because I mean those guys are Joey and Mitch, man. Like those guys. I'd be lying if I'd be lying if I did not say whatsoever that those did not inspire me because they did. Like those guys, just Kevin Castle, Don Tony. Those guys definitely are the reasons why I'm doing this years later. I've listened so long, ever since I was like 16, 17 years old. or I am 27 years old, you know, knows, like, I would be lying to you if I said they ain't inspiring me. So,
Yeah, Drew
like,
is good friends with Kevin Castle.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I got a chance to, you know, to run shows together, and you know, I talked back and forth with him on Twitter and spoken stuff. So Kevin's a great guy.
Kev's good. I call Draper, you know, Mish. Mish is good people. I'm glad to call these people my friends that 5 or 6 years ago I was just listening to them on TV tracks on YouTube. And now, you know, I can call them friends. And it's humbling. Because sometimes I gotta step back and be like, is this really my life? It is. And I'm happy it is. And Mr. another good friend. I've known you for a good while.
All right. Again, 200 episodes. Still got to wrap my head around that. But again, thank you for having me on. RJ, Jeff, good bunch of guys. It was fun tonight. Or you can find me at room _3. Don't ask me why. There's _3 in there. But you know, that's where you can reach me at. I'm active on there. Just tweet about a lot of stuff. I have a podcast, and it's the Room Prime Podcast. I discuss everything, pop culture, politics, just funny things that ramble on my head. And I just, you know, speak from the heart. I, you know, discuss things on my mind, things I see. And, you know, for a while I did wrestling. A while back I did wrestling. I had multiple guests on. But I rebranded since, and I'm actually thinking about rebranding once I hit 100 episodes. I'm trying to get like guests on and do it live, because I do my shows pre-recorded. I do want to change things up. I want to change the direction and focus of the podcast, and yeah. But I upload weekly. And I'm available everywhere. The Apple, Spotify, Google, you know, for, you know, my Android fans out there. And yeah, just for, you know, the rest of the year and beyond, I'm just trying to get that consistency going. And, you know, like RJ said, we have, you know, a funny thing called real life, and they, you know, smack us around, give us the haymaker. But if we just, you know, it's one thing we can just say, oh, you know, just go over there, just it'll be all right, just go on the corner. But no, like, just we gotta keep going. And, you know, Drew Yari is that testament. 200 episodes, you know,
right?
That's something to strive for. And hey, 200 more, you know, beyond
Exactly.
that lucky 400 and 500, so on and so forth. So it's that. It's just. It's funny you guys mentioned TV tracks, because that's how I found out about, you know, DTKC, and then through them I found other people, Wrestling Soup, Solid Monster. It's incredible, just through just browsing around YouTube and finding, you know, these wrestling podcasts, and look where we're at now. It's just the people that you come along the way, they shape and mold you to what you become, and appreciate those people shaping and molding, you know, what I am, because you do type of people, and it's a great part of, you know, because of them, I've wanted, you know, wanted to become a podcaster, and still trying to get better at it. I'm always learning. So I'm very appreciative, and I'm glad to call you guys friend, you know, call Drew, you know, a friend. It's been a wild ride, and, you know, podcast land. So again, you know, thank you for having me. And again, Twitter, Room Prime _3. Name of my podcast is Room Prime Podcast.
Again, thank you, Ruben. I mean, and also where you can find these fine gentlemen, these three fine gentlemen, is on the Patreon. On my Patreon, the Drew Yari Show Patreon, for just $5 a month. It gets you shows like the one I do with Jeff Lutman. It's called From Our Ears, where we just shoot the shit. We just did an episode recently where we're discussing the current Marvel lawsuit with the estate of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, trying to get back the rights for Marvel characters. So that's a good listen. Me and called Revenge of the Nerds, which we want to know, but we need to get that one like ASAP. And then Ruben are going to be doing a show soon for our podcast, The Worst of the Worst. Talk about bad movies, bad TV shows, sometimes cult movies, which we might be doing pretty soon. Our topic for our next show is going to be the Ghostbusters reboot, which the discussion for those woke movies and TV shows, and that one, unfortunately. So yes. I'm assuming you.
Good luck with that, pal.
Are you and me recording tomorrow, Ruben, or when are we recording for that one?
I mean, we can do it tomorrow, because unfortunately, Friday, so tomorrow is like the best.
Let's record as soon as possible. Okay. I would say at 4 time we're going to go see Venom, and I believe we're going to go around 7. So yeah, let's get that done as early as possible.
He's going 7 for the 11:30 show. He just wants to be in the front row.
Make sure you stay for that end credit scene. Somebody tip me off to something. Monday night.
Don't tell me. I want to.
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just saying, stay for it. Just stay for it. Y'all didn't say it was, but they just told me to stay for it. Stay for the end credit scene because we're gonna blow everybody's mind.
I
don't know what it means, but I have an idea in my head of what it's gonna be. But that's why I'm leaving it at.
I already have a feeling what it's going to be, but I want to. So I'm just going to stay the fuck off. I'm just going to stay the fuck off of social media all day. Anyways, gentlemen, it's been great. I went overboard than we, but fuck it, it's 200, so who cares? Anyways, guys, Ruben, I'll see you tomorrow. RJ and Jeff, I will see you soon, and let's discuss when our next show for our Patreon shows are going to be. But guys, have a great night. People listening, have a great night. Thank you for the listens. Thank you for the downloads. Thank you for the love. But best of all, peace. And we are off the air.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.